on, everybody. Oh, there I go again with my light. Forgot my light. There we go. Oh, it's not as powerful. Hang on. There we go. That's a little better. What's happening? It's episode 167 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight we are watching Halloween Kills, the extended cut. The extended cut. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday. We usually do these shows on Mondays. It is Sunday, October the 9th, 2022, 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's like late night with Tony and Dave tonight. Tomorrow is the Canadian Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving for us Canucks here in Canada, so we're doing the show tonight. We were going to do the show maybe later in the week, but things schedule-wise, so I said to Tony today, I said, Tony, you got some time today? He's like, yes, I do, but not tonight. I said, let's do it. Let's jump on it. We're doing it. We're here. We're doing it. Are you ready, Tony?
Yeah,
how are you?
It's two dudes and some pillow talk.
It's two dudes and some pillow. Tony and Dave After Dark. It's a whole other show. It's a whole other show. That's it. We are less than 5 days.
I thought you were going to say something else.
What was I going to say? What was I going to say?
We are listening to Frasier thing.
Right. Frasier Crate.
We are listening.
Yeah, we
tell us
are
your
listening.
problems, folks.
I am listening. I fucking love that show. It's so great.
I know, right?
We are less than 5 days away from the release of Halloween Ends in theaters around the world. And this is our lead up. Last week, of course, we watched Halloween 18. And tonight we're watching Halloween Kills, the extended cut. Again, we're watching the extended cut. That's what we're watching.
Then, of course, next Monday, we are going to watch what?
Next Monday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, I mean, unless something was to happen, Tony suddenly, he's going to. But the plan is next Monday night, October the 17th at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time to watch Halloween Ends live right here on the channel. Ooh, that's going to be a big one. That's what she said. Beat you to it, Tony. But tonight it's Halloween Kills, the extended cut. And I have not watched the extended cut. I've seen all the little extra scenes that have been in the extended cut on their own, but I actually haven't watched the movie from start to finish with those scenes in the movie. But you have, right, Tony?
I just did, because I didn't realize I had it on HBO Max. And when I'm kind of perusing through, I mean, I have my set horror movies that I'm watching for the month already.
Right.
And I was like, let me just, so I'll go on to Peacock now because I'm on Peacock now. So I have to get you that info before we end tonight.
Yes.
And then HBO Max and Netflix, not really anything great, on these platforms as far as like what they're offering to watch. I will say Peacock's got a pretty solid Universal monster collection going. So I've
not
been
surprised. Yeah.
checking off like, oh, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that, especially as we get closer towards the second half of the month here and we get closer to Halloween. And then, so I'm on HBO Max and I'm like, whoa, I saw Halloween Kills and I had no idea. So I was like, I'm planning some Halloween shoots here and getting the horror pictures posting again and stuff like that. Just pop it on. And the next thing you know, I'm like, it kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it. And when I saw like a scene pop up, like, wait a second, what the fuck am I watching here? So I stopped everything because I didn't know what the rest of the movie was going to be like because I hadn't seen it before. So there's some cool moments, especially in the flashback sequence. I thought were some good moments that I kind of wish they kept. I don't know why they cut it, maybe just because of time or whatever, but definitely could have kept it in because it was pretty cool scenes. So,
Yeah, no, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
obviously, like you said, you've seen everything, just not from start to finish.
Correct. I've seen all the scenes that they add that is in this extended cut, just not actually in the extent. I've seen them on their own, like in YouTube, clips and things like that. I actually haven't watched the movie. I've never watched the extended cut, basically. So this will be my first time. I mean, it's essentially the same movie with a few little added scenes, but yeah. So this is the first time I've watched Halloween Kills since you and I watched it, actually, I guess last year. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I saw it with Bruce at the screening, and then I watched it again on my own on Peacock in preparation for for the show and to really dive into it and talk about it. And then I watched it with you on the show, and then I think that's the last time I watched it. Like, I haven't watched it since. So this will be my first time in almost a year watching this movie. So I'm ready for some evil dies tonight. I am ready for some evil dies tonight.
Yeah, I know.
I'm ready, man. Should we do this?
Oh, let's do it. I got a question though for you before we get started. So you ever heard of the game Marry, Fuck, Kill?
Yes.
Okay. So this is kind of a twist to that game. All right. And it was really interesting because I'm curious to see if our answers are similar. All right. So going with the mountain. Now it's the characters. It's not the women themselves.
It's the characters.
Got to keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right.
I'm there.
We're going with the Mount Rushmore here.
Right.
Sidney Prescott.
Yes.
Laurie Strode.
Okay.
Nancy Thompson.
Yep.
Fuck, what's Jeannie's last name?
Friday
2.
Amy Steele?
Yeah, I forgot Jeannie's last name. Shit.
Oh, Ginny something.
I almost said Jenny Garth, but that's 902.
No. The chat room will let you know. We can always count on the chat room. What is Ginny's last name from Friday the 13th Part 2?
Those 4. That's the 4. So it can be, and here's the twist. It's marry, fuck, kill, best friend. So Fields, thanks, Brooke. So one could be your best friend, one you can marry, one you can kill, one you can fuck. Who's it going to be?
Well,
I want to see if ours are similar.
Well, I know
probably
who you're
not.
Probably
Actually,
not.
you're going to be surprised.
Well, you're gonna. Oh, okay. I might.
Except for one. One you won't be surprised, but the rest you will be surprised.
Right. Okay. I think Mary Heather. Nancy. Okay. I think friend Amy Ginny. Okay. And then who's left? I would say
Laurie and Sydney.
I would say, okay, that I
for fucking kill.
I'm with you. I'm gonna kill Laurie Strode. I think is what I'm gonna do. I think I am. I think I'm a little tired of Laurie Strode. No, I think I don't know. Ask me again next week and my answer may change. But that's where I'm sitting right now. That's where I'm sitting right now.
My kill is obviously Laurie.
There you go.
My best friend is Sydney. I'm going with Sydney as my BF.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, my fuck is Jeannie. Not surprisingly.
No.
And my Mary was Nancy.
Well, there you go. So we're similar.
Nancy just seems like a good solid woman you want to settle down.
There you have it.
Jeannie just seems like you want to have a wild weekend in Vegas with.
Vegas, specifically Vegas.
Specifically.
Not anywhere else, just Vegas. No. That's just where it is.
Laurie, you just want to chop her head off. And Sydney is just that good best friend you can count on. You know what I mean?
Go.
Like you can call, literally.
That's right.
Hello, Sydney.
Hello. All right, let's do this. We are paused. Again, this is Halloween Kills, the extended cut. Tony and I are paused as the Universal logo is just about to come over planet Earth. So we see just the side, just the beginning of the big U in Universal Pictures. That's where we are paused. That's where you're going to want to set your film up if you are watching along with us. Again, this is Halloween Kills, the extended cut. If you are watching the theatrical cut, there will be a point as you are watching along that you will fall behind.
Yes.
Or we will fall behind, or
and you're watching
whatever,
it on YouTube,
however
I'm watching it on HBO Max.
Yes, Tony's watching it on HBO Max.
Yep,
HBO Max, and I'm watching it off YouTube. I rented it off YouTube. You'd rent it for like $4, whatever. Not a big deal. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I gotta say, again, one of the strengths of this movie, you got to give credit where credit is due, the score. The score. John Carpenter.
Great soundtrack.
Cody
Absolutely.
Carpenter, Daniel Davis, they knock it out of the park. They knock it out of the park. Yeah, it's great. Love this little opening here and the music and the ominous. It's ominous and eerie and ooh, it's creepy. I like it. It's too bad I don't like the movies more. But the music is great. It's great. And there's some good stuff. Like I said, it's not all bad. It's like the facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of great kill scenes in this movie.
That is true. That is true.
Some of the best in the franchise.
I'm still gonna blow that motherfucker's brains out.
I always forget it's the flashback sequence, or not flashback, but
yeah,
you hear from what happened.
Yeah, you hear it. Super chat comes in from Howard, sends in $5. Thanks, Howard. Says, saw extended cut last night again, and I didn't like it nearly as much as the last time. Boring. I cringed every time they talked. I only liked the kills. Well, there you go. I only liked the kills. Well, that's not good. Here's Cameron. Barefoot and
very, very satisfied kill scene.
For sure. This his death is great.
Yes.
His death is great.
Not quite as rewarding as Karen's, but satisfying.
But it's a better.
Karen's was rewarding just in general.
Yeah, it's a better kill.
Is that Oscar?
It is Oscar, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Cameron's death is a better kill though, in terms of the execution,
as far
everything.
As the execution, yeah.
Yeah.
Karen's is just satisfying.
Yeah. Hey, you okay? You okay, Mr. Police Officer?
I got to tell you, when watching this for the first time last year, I was shocked that he still survived. I got to tell you, I did not. That's one. Well, because remember, I didn't watch anything leading, unlike with Ends. I think I pretty much watched everything. But with this, I had no fucking clue, but you all knew. So like when I saw this, actually for the first time, not knowing anything about Halloween Kills, I was like, what? This motherfucker is still alive? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It worked. It made sense.
I still think he should have been, like we said last week when we were watching 18, Hawkins should have been the sheriff. Should have been the sheriff.
For sure.
Should have been.
He needs to die.
Needs to die.
He needs to die.
He needs to die.
It needs to die. Oh, here we go. I love
I'm
this.
the one that's going to get him.
And
then we cut back. Here it is.
Hearing this old school music and seeing this.
It's cool. Seeing the old school text. The old school text that pops up on it. Look at that shot. That shot right there of Myers. We just saw him. Is the best he's looked at up to this point in 40 fucking years.
And it's the closest you and I will ever get to experiencing what they experienced in 1978. This is the closest we'll ever get.
For sure. I mean, unless
I still think we should have lived here for the whole movie, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, it would have been interesting. Well, yeah, it would have been interesting. That would have cost a lot of money to keep this because obviously then it becomes a period piece.
Because I think it would have made a buttload of money.
Yeah. But it's cool though. But I like again, like we said last week, there's a couple things that they do continue to get right. Obviously, I mean, the mask is great. Aaron Armstrong, shout out to Aaron Armstrong, who
for the flashback,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that too.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the new mask.
Everything. No, the mask and the flashback, the current mask. It's they've done a great job. That was one of the downfalls of every Halloween movie. And I know there are people that like the 6 mask or the H2O mask. That's fine. You're allowed to like all that. But you cannot, I think we can agree that it pales in comparison to that original. That's why you see a lot of mask collectors always getting the 78 one and getting, the rehaul of the 78 one or whatever. It's because that's the one that everybody wants. Those are the photos you always see of them in cosplaying and in costume and all that kind of stuff. Because that's Myers.
Not only that did they get right, but when you watch these two cops walking down this alleyway, it feels like the same backdrop that Carpenter set in the original movie. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Minus this wide shot of showing the city and stuff. Because
which is added in afterwards.
Of course. We never saw that in Haddonfield. Carpenter kept Haddonfield very confined in his movie.
Yeah.
But when he's walking down the alley, or they're walking down the alley, or even Michael, when the opening shots, or even this side streets here with Lonnie and the girls and stuff, it feels, the tonality feels the same as the 78 film. That's why I wish, there's a part of me wishes that they stayed here a lot longer, because I think it would have amplified the film. You know what I mean? Like maybe cut back and forth between the 2018 and this, and played with that throughout the entire film. I think it would have been a different film entirely.
Yeah.
Like I would have taken more flashback sequences over the fucking protesting at the hospital.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I would too. That's true. Yeah, no, they've done a great job. The set decoration,
absolutely.
When you shoot it in obviously in this part of it's North Carolina, I think they're shooting this one in,
right?
I think obviously they're shooting in a neighborhood, in an environment that already has this look. You deck out the scenes with old school looking cars, depending on what, I don't know what sort of color correction or timing they did in post, but everybody's wearing everybody's, it looks the part, right? The old police cars, the leaves. Yeah, no, they've done a good job at making me believe that this, I mean, obviously the production value is modern production value, but they've done a really good job at making me believe it's that time period.
Here's our first extended scene here, I think.
Yes, this is it, where he sees Michael. Now, somebody has often said too that at this point in the game, Michael had already been, shot 6 times, fallen off the balcony. Maybe they removed it because he wouldn't be stalking like this, right? He wouldn't be, but says who? Says who? I mean,
no, this isn't the extended scene. Where's the extended scene? Oh, it happens later. Where Lonnie has a flashback of him.
Oh, I see. No. We're watching the part where he sees him behind the bush, which was not in the theatrical cut.
You're at the part where he's behind the bush?
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're not? Uh-oh. Hang on. Let's pause. Are you watching the extended cut?
Hold on.
You might not be watching the extended cut.
The Halloween Kills, that HBO Max.
Then they probably just have the theatrical cut. I've paused it, folks, by the way. I've paused it.
Which is super weird because the other night, hold on, let me see. What did I do wrong?
That's okay. It's all right. We've paused.
Maybe they switched it out.
I don't know. Find your bearings there, and I'll take this 2 super chats here. Matthew Farisi sends in $4.99, says this movie was a step down from 18, but I think James Jude Courtney stepped up his game. He was menacing in this movie. Oh, James Jude Courtney's been fantastic. He's the only thing, not the only thing, but one of the things that have been firing on all cylinders is James Jude Courtney's portrayal of the Shape. I think he's terrific. Jordan Ellis sends in $9.99. Thank you, Jordan, and says I'm really excited for more Hawkins and Laurie and Ends. Great. I'm at 7 minutes, 14 seconds, but you get to that.
I'll get to the part where Lonnie's walking down the street.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think what I did with HBO Max, there's 2 versions you can click on, and I hit the wrong one. So
gotcha.
All right. So now Lonnie's walking down the street. He's got his head down like that.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just get this super chat. Jordan says, I'm really excited for more Hawkins and Laurie in Ends and seeing where their characters are 4 years later. Their scenes in this movie are really great, in my opinion, and one of the strong points. Yeah, Jordan, I agree, right? That's strong character development relationship there between those 2 characters, and I'm looking forward to that as well. I think sure. I'm very curious to see sort of where their dynamic goes. Okay, let me just back it up here.
So Lonnie's kind of got his head down and he's just, kind of moping, walking down the street.
Okay, 1 sec. Let me get this.
It's just after we could go right to where the kids walk out of frame.
Hang on. I'm almost there.
I backed it up a few beats. I backed it up to where Lonnie's standing on the street corner.
Okay,
it's a wide pullback shot.
Oh, okay. Wait a sec here then. Okay, that's okay. Okay. All right. Right. And they're like, boogie, did you see his face?
They just got out of frame. It's just Lonnie standing there by himself. It's a wide back out
shot.
Got
it. Okay, here we go. Cool. 1, 2, 3. All right. So this scene that we're about to watch,
he's walking
obviously
down the street shaking his head, right?
Now, I'm like a second behind you. So he's walking, shaking his head. And some people have said, well, maybe they removed
this.
It's terrific. It's great. It's part of Michael Myers' MO. This is what he does. And it works so well too, because you know, you'll see he kind of walks behind the bush and he continues to walk. You can sort of see his feet there at the bottom. And it looks like he's about to walk like through the camper or through the, you know, whatever that is there, the house. Yeah. And then, of course, when he goes and checks, he's gone. Now, it's a little anticlimactic, I think, because maybe it takes a little long, but because that gives Myers enough time to do that, although I guess it's similar to the original. Nonetheless, some people have said, well, maybe they removed this scene because he was shot 6 times. He's not in stalking mode. He's in fleeing mode. And it's like, says who? I mean, you're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago. I mean, who's to say that he's not, but who's to say he's not back out there just kind of doing his thing? I mean, you know.
They could have also used this with Lonnie. Yeah, where the overhead shot of Lonnie. Yeah. They also could have used this later in that scene we just watched with Lonnie walking down the street. They could have used it later in the movie when Lonnie's having a reflective moment back on the night.
True. Yes.
They could have used it then.
Could have done that as well, for sure.
Then this way you don't know what moment of the night is this happening.
Fair enough. But to me, it doesn't really like to think that he's fleeing. Like, well, no, he got up, he left, and he's probably like, well, I'm just going to continue my rampage somewhere else. I mean, again, he's not necessarily thinking this and compartmentalizing those thoughts. He's a force of nature. He's like the wind, as John Carpenter would say, right? He's a predator. He's instinctual. He's just out doing his thing. You know, I think people try to, in my opinion, apply logic where it doesn't necessarily apply. That doesn't mean you can be loose with it and have things not make sense at all. But Myers being behind a bush after he's been shot, watching Lonnie from a distance, that's not. No, he wouldn't be. He'd be running down the street fleeing, or, you know, whatever sometimes people say. It's like, no, not at all. I don't think so.
Not really. Well,
he's just doing his thing. He's just out doing his thing.
I mean, look at what he did. Look at what he did in 2 after 2. Yep. You know what I mean? He gets up and he goes to the, you know, maybe a block over to, you know, the L Rods, gets a knife and kills the Alice.
That's it. That's exactly.
He goes right back into
he continues doing his thing. That's right. Yeah. That's right. So anyway, again, despite what you might think about the movie, the set decoration, the stuff they've done here in the flashback is terrific. The attention to detail. Of course, it was all on a soundstage. I absolutely believe this is the same house. I mean, they've done such a terrific job. It's kind of cool to see the dog that was only mentioned in the first film, you know. But again, it's that attention to detail. Fans love that kind of stuff. Like this is for the fans. This isn't for the average moviegoer. This is for the fans like you and I.
Hardcore people that 100% know the little details.
Yeah, that know the layout, that know the details. That dog.
Oh, even the gutter crashing into the window. That's 100%, there.
Dude. When I saw that, details. I was looking for it when I saw this in the theater, and when I saw it, a big smile came over my face. I was like, oh, nice. You know, they got that, right? Whereas, like, your average horror movie or even your average...
No, they're not going to recognize
They're not going to recognize that. Even the dog that was there, I was like, oh, they showed the dog. Unnecessary, but okay, that's cool. That's fan service. The average person in the theater is not going to go, oh, there's the dog. They're not going to think that. This is purely... This is for the hardcore fans, which is cool. It's a nice touch. Great work, right down to the wallpaper. I mean, everything is just really, really well done. Frank, the timestamp is, for me, it's 10 minutes, 40 seconds. I'm watching it off of YouTube.
And for me on HBO Max, I'm at 10 minutes, 48 seconds.
Okay,
49.
That's where I am now. Yeah, so we're in the same spot.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Halloween extended cut.
Cops looking down at Michael's shoes, boots.
Now, timestamp for us, Frank, is now 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Yeah, looking down. Then here he comes. Oh, the mask looks great. I think Aaron Armstrong, like I said, did a great job. It does. The only thing I wish he punch him in the stomach. The only thing I wish, again, this is nitpicky, but you can see
his eyes,
not his eye, like not necessarily the catch lights in his eyes, but you can see like the skin underneath his eyes, which I would, again, if I was doing this,
then again, he is flashing a light.
He is, but you can totally avert that. I wouldn't have had that. And then he just walks away.
He just walks.
Just fucking leaves. Like, I'm out of here. See, I love the way that he's being portrayed here. He's the force of nature, right? It just is. He's got no empathy, no sympathy, he's just like a machine. It's just like, it's just this, it's a force of nature. That's it.
Stay back. The evil is here.
Yeah, here it comes. Is he still here?
Officer Hawkins.
That's right.
Did he say anything to you?
Is he still here? I think the actor, he's not even an actor, the guy that played that role, I think his name is Tom Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not unusual
to be loved by anyone.
The Carlton.
That's right. Now this gives Hawkins, some depth. Okay, cool. All right, interesting. Still think he should be the sheriff. I love when people
from Halloween 2.
People thought that was supposed to be Hunt. I don't know.
I think it is. It's the actor.
No, it's not the same actor.
You sure?
Positive. It's not the same actor. He'd be in his like 70s by now.
I mean, kind of looks like he's in his 70s, right?
No, it's not the same actor. It's not the same actor.
I thought it was.
But this is but this shot here is a great shot, right?
Except there's no bullet holes.
No, there actually are. They're very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess depending on what was the gun that Loomis shot him with, was a Smith & Wesson? Not a Smith & Wesson.
I don't know.
Someone in the chat room will let us know.
But again, you don't want to.
So I guess it would depend. You'd have to talk to a gun expert to see like what kind of bullet holes the gun that Loomis uses on Michael. What would that leave? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like how big would the holes be?
But then, I mean, they're there. I love that shot, right? The cinematic tableau mirroring the end of the first film. I don't think we need to go back to that. Now, later on in the film, we go back to it, and in my opinion, we see a situation with Michael that sort of emasculates him a little bit. And I don't think we need to see him beaten to the ground and his mask removed. We don't see his face, but I don't think we need to see any of that. Again, that's how I feel about it.
I think that could have been the execution for the finale of Ends. I mean, I've said that a million times.
Yeah. It's just up to that point. I'm just like, I don't need to see this. I have a whole video on my channel where I talk about why, and I think I give very clear examples and very clear reasons as to why. Of course, people are free to disagree, of course, but I am certainly not just shooting from the hip. I have very sort of good, poignant points of why I think that is very important. But nonetheless, we do go back to it. But ending on that with the cinematic tableau, pulling back, seeing Loomis in the doorway, Michael on the lawn, the cops, it's great. And then just cut to cut to the title. Now we're, of course, into the credits here. I love the pumpkins on fire. I think that's great. I think that's something that is a big positive for this movie, are these opening credits with those pumpkins. Very cool. Very cool effect. And now we jump to Halloween night 2018. Do you remember when people thought these were Julian's parents because they were because they were the only black people in the other movie? It's like, what?
Dave, that's racist.
No, I think that is why people see it must be Julian's parents. And no, that's not true. What, because they're black? No. Well, Julian, because I don't even think they were coming out of Julian's house. I don't even think it was his house. I don't even think it was I don't think that's where Julian was even being babysat. But I think subconsciously, people kind of made that connection.
Why? Because they're the only black adults in the movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think who knows, but I can't help but feel that I think that's probably true to some degree, right? It's like, no, come on, guys, let's get past that. I will say though, I do like both their characters. I think they were probably one of the more stronger act. I'm not a big fan necessarily of how she died. I think it was a little too comical for me, but nonetheless.
Who? Oh, the nurse. Yeah.
Yeah. And because where did she go for 2 minutes? She just disappears and then comes back.
Dave, just shut up and watch the movie.
All right. I'll remember that next time somebody watches my movie. Shut up and watch the movie. What's this actor's name that plays Lonnie?
I don't know.
Fuck, I forget his name. Armstrong something, right? No, it's not. No. That's Longstreet. Longstreet? Longstreet. This dude. Something Longstreet. I got to say, the actor that plays Lonnie, the chat room will let me know. It's something Longstreet, I think, is a great actor. Like, I've seen him in other things, and he's a really good actor. I think he's one of the stronger actors in this movie. 100%. 100%. Louis Armstrong. It's not Louis Armstrong. Longstreet, yeah, but I forget his first name. But Anthony Michael Hall is a Robert Longstreet. Thank you, Matthew. Is a great actor as well, but underutilized in this movie. Now, Tony,
favorite Anthony Michael Hall movie.
Oh, Vacation.
Got to go with Breakfast Club.
I know. I'm going vacation. Vacation or maybe
Vacation is great, but Breakfast Club is just
16 Candles. Was he in 16 Candles or was it Pretty in Pink? No, it was 16 Candles, I think.
16 Candles.
Yeah.
Because Pretty in Pink is what's his name? John Cryer.
Right.
The
That's
dude
right.
from Mannequin. I always forget his name. He played in Mannequin.
Now,
he also played in St. Elmo's Fire and what's her name? Molly Ringwald.
Yeah. So do you believe that these four would be getting together every year with Marion Chambers?
No, not with Marion Chambers.
No. I don't believe they'd be getting together every year either. I don't believe that.
Well, maybe Tommy and Lindsay, but not Marion Chambers.
Maybe, but I don't know. Like I do empathize because I kind of agree. Even though, again, I've said this 1,000 times, even though I understand why they removed Halloween 2 from the canon. I get it. I like these little flashbacks.
Except for that shot there where Brackett discovers the body of his daughter.
I know.
That's technically Halloween 2.
It is, but here's the thing. Here's why I think it's okay to show it.
I get it. It's the same night.
Halloween. It's the same night. And obviously he would have, they're just showing the inevitability of probably what would have happened. They're not necessarily saying Halloween 2 is canon. This is where you got to instill a bit of nuance. But having said that, there are some things that they try to ask the audience to believe from these three movies that would be easier to believe in terms of the trauma and the emotional impact and the residual effects and all that kind of stuff had Halloween 2 existed. Now, I understand why it can't. I mean, he was blown up, he was on fire, and he was burning to death at the end of the movie, and Laurie and Michael were revealed to be brother and sister. Okay, this is problematic. But the sheer sort of, I do, again, it's just a movie. I can suspend my disbelief, but I will say that it is more difficult to believe that they would still be getting together 40 something years later. What, they do this every year? I mean, it's like, really? They're still in Haddonfield? They're still, I don't know. Like it would be easier to believe if 2 exists. I do empathize. I get it. I get it, but shut up.
Oh, there's actually some extended scenes here in the fight with the firemen.
Oh, is there?
Yes,
okay.
There is. And well, when I watched it with HBO Max, there was some more, it was longer.
Right.
So I'm assuming we're still in sync with each other.
Yeah, I'm watching a firefighter walk away. Now it's a front on shot. Now it's a close up of him. He's looking around. He's looking down there. He sees sort of the basement. Oh, he falls through the floor.
Yeah. So we're there. All right. Yeah, there is a bit. It's longer. They did add a little bit more in this version that I watched.
Right. Okay. But it's cool. I mean, look, it's too bad a lot of this was revealed in the trailer, because I do agree with those that say it would have been a nice reveal to see it sort of just happen in the movie. And that's how he survived. He hid in Laurie's gun closet or whatever that is there. He's going to town.
One of my favorite kill sequences in this franchise is this whole sequence with him and the firemen and how he just tears them up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. From that perspective, yeah, it's good. For sure. Frank says, I'm offended by this scene. That's funny. I know what Frank's talking about. Come on up. I got him. I got Bob. Oh, shit. No, I don't. And this is a great shot when he comes out through the flames and through the water.
It's awesome.
It's a great shot. Great shot. It's menacing. It's ominous. There he is. You know, just walks out. There's one shot that looks a little composited CG for some weird reason. I don't know why. It's coming up here in a second. It's not this shot. That's a great shot. I think it's when he steps off. Not here, obviously. That's fine. It's coming up here in a second. Or maybe it was just in the trailer. Oh, maybe it was just in the trailer. Or maybe it's not in the extended cut because they realized it looks kind of weird. Yeah, it must not be in the extended cut. Anyway, here we go. They are going to town. Let me fucking let me turn this up a little bit.
Moving like butter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, run your face. Run your face. Oh, look at all that blood spurting. Love it. Love it.
We are
the blood on the camera.
Sick individuals.
Love the blood on the camera and everything. It's great.
You know
great.
that? We are. Yeah. We truly are. We are truly sick individuals.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, you know. We love seeing people. We love seeing people getting hacked up.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Fucking absolutely.
And here we are, the hospital scene. There's Brackett. And Laurie and Brackett never have a scene together. He turns and says, Laurie. But they never share a scene together. That was really disappointing. Really a missed opportunity. Washing the blood off from the incident. You see, if I actually cared about peanut butter on my penis guy more, I'd maybe feel a little something more for that moment as she's washing the blood off her wedding ring. But I never got attached to, what the hell was his name? I forget his name. Ray, that's it. Thank you. That Ray, of course. Yeah, no, I knew that. Now, it is nice to see her kind of having that moment, that emotion. Obviously, I think that's important. Obviously, she doesn't have time, not too much time. The operation on Laurie. It's too bad Freddy Krueger wasn't one of the doctors here.
That'd been great.
Can you imagine? He leans over.
Audience would go nuts. Oh my God, we're getting a Freddy versus Michael movie.
He leans over the barrier and he's like, fresh meat. And he just
Welcome
like
to
digs
prime
in.
Time, bitch.
Yeah, he digs in. Give me a feel it, bitch. Jeez, that'd be funny.
It would be. I concur. I hate this character just about as much as I hate Laurie.
I think she's better in this movie, though. I think she's better in this movie. She's better in this movie. What's this guy just doing there with somebody naked lying there?
You know, when the scene cuts to him initially sitting there, like, I thought that was Malcolm McDowell for a split second.
Oh, yeah.
From the distance. I was like, wait, what?
Why is he just sitting there saying you can't be in here? Like, he should have gotten up and been like, ma'am, you can't be here, you know. Force his way out. Whatever. I guess she can't. I was going to say maybe she should take off her shirt, but I guess she can because she's probably got nothing on underneath.
Andy?
Yeah.
Allison?
Yeah, because there's all this blood and shit, right? So. But.
He'll always be with us. Lame.
Even if
acting.
we can't see him. Yeah,
right,
he'll always be. Yeah, no, the acting in this movie's not
lame
good.
acting.
The acting in this movie's not good.
I don't care, Dave. I didn't watch it for the acting.
People right now taking to Reddit to call me.
Oh, I know. Now, I will say the kills with these two people are fucking great.
Oh,
Watching
great.
Michael
Again,
watching him do his artwork and stuff.
There's nothing wrong with the kills.
Setting up the guy and
for sure. Now this we're about
this is extended too.
It is, and we're about to see Nick Castle's cameo. And
oh my God, it's the original.
Yeah, but you barely see him.
But Dave, it's the original.
Here it comes through the POV of the. Oh, wait a minute. I thought. Oh no! You know what? It might. No, it's not in here. It's not in here. It was as a deleted scene, so it's not even in the extended cut. It's not even in the extended cut because we would have seen it already. So I thought it was in the extended cut, but it's not.
I have that wreath that's hanging on their thing that's by the bathroom. That's actually in my hallway by my bathroom.
Nice.
That's fucking funny. Literally the same wreath.
So the Nick Castle cameo is a deleted scene. It's not in the extended cut either. And by the way, James Jude Courtney has confirmed.
I've heard rumors that Castle's got a cameo in Ends.
He does, but James Jude Courtney in a recent interview confirmed that Nick Castle's cameo in Ends is not as Michael Myers. So Nick Castle does not dress up as Michael Myers, according to James Jude Courtney, at all in the movie. He's playing somebody else. So you will see his face. That's cool. Maybe he'll be like Guy B off in the corner or something.
Kind of meta.
Yeah.
But cool at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, it's on, bitches. Hey, Sandra, there's a big fella in the bathroom. Fucking huge.
Yeah, these two are awesome.
Yeah, they're great. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, get the fucking out of here.
No complaints with James Jude Courtney either. Phenomenal.
No, he's great. He's great. He's great. Now, I do like the when he ends up killing her and he kills the guy, which he's already done, but he starts sticking the knives into his back like a pincushion. I like the shot. I think it's an eerie shot. It's out of focus. We are sort of, the camera is situated beside Sandra here, and you see Michael in the distance picking up the knives, looking at it, sticking into his back, picking up another knife, looking at it, sticking it into his back. But we never rack focus, which I really like. We don't pull focus to make him clear.
They could have, but they didn't.
They didn't.
And I wonder if because they'll do multiple takes. I wonder if they did do it both ways.
They may have
to see what looked better, with or without the pull focus.
They may have. That's a lot of blood that was coming out of that guy's neck. That was great. But also because you see how we are here, right? And
on her.
That's right. And we're slowly kind of starting to, shift the camera around, and I like how it almost feels like we're a victim as well. And we're just kind of sitting beside Sandra watching this happen. And again, it's out of focus. It's what's called a soft focus, right? It's not like completely out of focus that you don't know what's understanding, but it's a soft focus. But they could have pulled focus here and they didn't. It's Sandra that's in focus, where we're just kind of watching her watch her husband die. This is probably the in my opinion, if you want to say
it's one of the best kills.
Moving or tragic, this is tragic. And then he just
awesome at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's well done. There's certain things in this movie that you're like, yeah, that's good. But it all comes to, the kills, right? But the other stuff, there's some other stuff in here that's, structurally, the pacing of this movie is completely off in my opinion. But, again, you take the good, you take the bad, and you take them both, and there you have the facts of life, the facts of life. I love that fucking show. Did you used to watch that show, The Facts of Life?
No, I actually have not. I've never, I've heard of it, obviously, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a 80s show. I think you'd like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I fucking love this guy.
Hey there, Bonnie. You and Clyde need a ride? Dad, I need you. What? What's going on? Is it him? Cameron gets his ass kicked. Oh, Cameron. Ba 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 ba. Good old Huckleberry. Isn't that the name of the bat or something? Or old... I think it's the name of the bat. Yeah. Hey, guys, Cameron's in trouble. I gotta go. Lonnie, what's wrong? They know, man. They know. Oh, look. It's Barker.
The greatest character actor ever in the Halloween franchise.
I'm telling you right now, this guy is amazing. Look at him, motherfucker.
He's Busta Rhymes, but elevated by 100.
Dude, Barker, this is on your watch. This is on your watch, Barker. The house is burned to the ground. All the firefighters are dead. Like, can you imagine coming upon this scene and being like, what the fuck? Like a bunch of big firefighters couldn't take this guy down. And then somebody's going to say,
Oh, sure, but a 60-year-old Laurie Strode will.
I know, it's a movie.
Well, yeah, that's how they wrote it.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I mean, it's how they wrote
Didn't you
it.
know Laurie literally has 38-inch biceps? Like underneath her shirt, she's fucking massive.
Fucking huge.
She's jacked. Laurie is jacked. How jacked? She's jacked.
I hope we do get some good screen time with Lindsay in this one, but I have a feeling from what I've heard, we're not.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, she's in it.
It's the last one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. There's Michael Myers. Don't they show what's his name, Odenkirk as Bob?
Something like that.
Yeah. Isn't that his last name? Something like that. Because they couldn't find the actor.
There's Brackett. There's Linda.
Yep.
There's Bob.
Linda and Bob.
Kind of a bad picture of Bob.
Yeah, it's not even Bob. It's the actor that played him. It's that.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, there's Julian. Got a payday.
By the way, if it was his parents, don't you think they would have been like, "Hey, it's Julian on TV"?
Yeah, well, for sure. For sure. What the hell's happening? It's Michael. It's got to be. Why is that your first choice? Why is your first instinct to go to Michael?
Because there's no other killers in Haddonfield.
No, I don't know. There's no
we
look. I'm somebody.
We got real like a few days ago in our area, not like 2 streets over from where I live. Some guy out on his front lawn doing yard work or some shit, and some dude just walked up to him and stabbed him to death. Random. Like no connection to the guy.
America,
like,
America.
What the hell? So it had our area neighborhood kind of on edge, for the last week or so, because it was just a random attack. And
yeah, that's crazy.
Just fucking nuts.
That's crazy. I'm of the mindset that look, if you're going to bring back legacy characters, and now we're talking legacy characters, so characters that have a real, a real emotional attachment to fans. Characters that
Evil dies tonight. It's the first time it said it.
I know.
We should have
done
a shot game every time they
Marion.
say we take a shot.
I have my shot. All right, I got a shot glass.
So
Welcome to the
hammered.
shit show. Welcome to the shit show. I'm pouring water in it. In it. I know. I should have vodka. Okay, well, we can pretend. Here it is.
Dude, we'd be so hammered by the end of this stream.
It's true. But I just want to say, if you're going to bring back legacy characters that are really going to resonate with the audience, you can't bring them back and treat them like they're just like other characters. There has to be a story thread for the characters that can deliver on that emotional weight, on the emotional weight of their return. Now, you don't want to overdo it because then it's a little too self-indulgent, but these characters, I didn't feel anything for them when they died. I didn't feel anything when they were reintroduced. I didn't feel anything. And if you're going to reintroduce legacy characters, we got to feel it. Now, maybe the average moviegoer won't feel it, but we got to feel it. You know, it's like that moment when Han Solo and Chewie first appeared on the Millennium, Falcon again. Regardless of what your thoughts are on the series or The Force Awakens, you fucking felt it. And don't fucking tell me you didn't, because you did, because you were crying like a little fanboy like we all were. We felt it. And the way they were introduced, the way they were handled, you know what I mean? Now, we can talk about Leia and Luke and all that shit, but I'm just saying that, to reintroduce them and to have a thread that these I don't feel, they're just like people, they're just kind of there. I don't feel anything. And it was really disappointing that they came and went without any sort of emotional bottom to their existing or their reason for existing in this movie. It's just unfortunate. Of course, my opinion. Oh, shut up, McRae! Did he really kiss the bat?
He kissed the bat.
He kissed the bat.
He sure
He
did.
did. He kissed the bat.
He sure did. Little John, Big John.
Oh, I'm not a fan. Listen, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't crack a smile or giggle a couple of times. I'm not a big fan of these characters, really. And no, it has nothing to do with it because they're gay. It's the characters.
The sexual innuendo jokes that they did, excuse me, that Little John and Big John did.
Yes.
That's how you execute it in a horror movie. Not peanut butter on my penis, but the innuendo jokes that the two of them did in moments, that was funny. It made me laugh. And that's how you do it. But the fucking peanut butter on my penis shit that was in, the 20, that's not how you do it.
I think for me, and again, I only speak for myself, and I realize that it's a nitpick. I think for me, I just think the characters are too, sure, it works, but I think the characters are it's too self-aware. It's too cheeky. It's too gimmicky. It's too gimmicky for me. I think I would have much preferred just them to play it straight, no pun intended. I don't mean straight as in straight. I mean, but not so whimsical, or don't have anybody in the house. Just have it there abandoned, but or have it lived in, but just have a family, or I don't know. It just seems a little too.
You wouldn't realistically, if it was still abandoned, it'd be almost rotted to the ground.
No, fair enough. There's just something about the characters that are. It's like a Saturday Night Live sketch, and I just, I don't know. I'm just like, I giggled, sure, but for a Saturday Night Live sketch, it works. For the actual movie itself, I don't know. I guess I take these things so seriously, and I really think it just should have been played straight. Again, no, pun intended. I just mean that the guys can be gay, but it just feels like they're letting they're gay. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Just have it two guys living together, and they play it like Shakespeare, like they play it serious. And for me, it just came across as too silly. I don't know. I just, but that's me. That's me. I don't hate the characters. I don't hate the scene or anything, but I definitely would not have gone this route with it. I can tell you that. And again, because it's the internet, so you have to say this, because there are people out there that will put words in your mouth. It has nothing to do with them being gay. It's the execution of their characters. I find it a little too gimmicky. That's all. But that's me. Stabbed her in the tits. Has he already said that? Yeah, I think he did. But hey, again, this is a soundstage. Looks fantastic. Looks legit. Really, really, really well done. Good stuff. Hey, some super chats came in here. Let me see if I can get a couple. Antonis Andriota sends in $10, says, hey Dave, sorry to go off topic, but since you're a huge Harrison Ford fan, do you think he will still be alive when the Indiana Jones 5 premiere happens next year? I hope so. He's 80. He'll be 81. I hope so. I'm going to say yes. Jeffrey M sends in $2, says, you commented to text you. I don't have your number, Dave. I never said that. I never said you to text me. And if I did, I was being facetious. I wasn't being serious. I'm not going to give you my number, dude. Let me see here. Matthew Farisi sends in $19.99 and says, I wish they shot the mob scene in real time instead of the stylized way they did it. Should have had Michael standing victorious amongst the dead, drenched in blood. Also should have had him slowly emerge behind Karen. Yeah, I think it had something to do with the fact that they were originally going to shoot that out on the street, but they actually had to take it indoors and shoot it on the soundstage. And I don't know if everything was set up. That's why it was shot that way. That's why it's stylized that way. So a lot of the close-ups you see of Michael, the reason, and the mob, the reason why it's all black around them and you just see their faces lit by whatever light they have, it's stylized that way because that actually was shot inside, as far as I know, because they were losing time when they were actually out on the street. I don't know if it was Christopher Nelson that said that or David Gordon Green, but it was something like that. So that might have been one of the reasons why they had to stylize it and present it that way. I would assume.
Dave's phone number, by the way, is 1-900.
Yes. 1-900-444-4444. Thank you for
the first connection fee is $5.99. Each additional minute is $10.99.
There you go. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. And thank you for the very generous super chat, Matthew. I really appreciate that very much. And then Chad Powers sends in $2, says, any way to get me contract with voice agent, my man? No, Chad. No. Sorry, bud. Let me see. George Stegall sends in $20. Thank you, George. Very generous of you. Says, hey, Dave, been following those movies with your channel since early 2018. You've easily become my favorite content creator on YouTube. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you. Can I get a but Dave? Tony, great job on your picks. But Dave! Thank you, George. Really appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
Asking for your address in the chat room. That would be 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
The White House.
That's funny.
It's the address of the White House.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's the address of the White House. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
No one of important is there, so you should be able to get in easily.
No. Yeah. Feel free to jump the fence and just knock on the front door.
You could probably just walk in.
For sure.
Really?
For sure. Biden won't hear you.
Nah.
So, okay, the timestamp now is 44 minutes and 38 seconds. We missed earlier unless it was taken from the extended cut, I don't remember seeing it, but that moment where Allison goes, what? I think I was too busy talking when that happened, but that's dreadfully cringy and doesn't come across as believable to me.
It just seems like it's a bad take on a scene they were trying to execute, and for whatever reason,
well, it seems very staged.
Yeah, it seems extremely staged.
Yeah,
it very not good for the actress because up until this point, her performance has been on point. Like in the zone. And that just seems like it seems like they took a rehearsal cut, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And cut it in rather than using the take that she probably delivered the proper performance.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot
here, when she, you know what I mean? She's in her zone. She's in her character.
She's waiting for the tear to fall. See, there goes the tear. Now she leaves.
but at least her performance is solid. You know what I mean? It's
her performance is fine.
A totally out of left field. What?
No,
kind of sounds like Stone Cold Steve Austin during his promos. What?
Yeah. The whole. Oh, okay. So flashbacks. Yeah. No, I remember that. No, the acting as a whole in this movie is not very good at all. It's very it's very much like the actors, and again, it's not their fault. They are,
paid to do a job and they're told what to do.
They are giving the best performance they can under the lines they are given. but it feels, in a lot of cases, it feels like they're too self-aware that they're in a Halloween movie. Like, I can't tell you how many times, not just Evil Dies Tonight, but how many times in this movie actors say 40 years ago, 40 years ago, well, 40 years ago, 40 years ago. And it's, I mean, everybody's like, I swear that line was said like 8 or 9 times in this movie. It just feels like they're you know, they're very aware they're in a Halloween movie.
Meta, you know?
Well, yeah. Yeah, in some respects, yeah.
You know,
I
like
get what
how
you're saying.
you ever watch a Deadpool movie?
Yes, of course.
So
yeah,
you know
I've
how
seen both of them.
Deadpool's very self-aware?
Mhm.
Kind of like that in a way. You know what I mean? They're just too, I think the characters, which is very out of context for storytelling for a Halloween movie to be that self-aware of itself, you know?
Yeah, well, it's again, it's fine to say it once, but to say it as many times as they did.
Yeah.
The 40 years ago, I know Cameron says it. I think Allison says it. Karen says it. It's like, why do you have to keep saying that? I mean, that should have been something in a draft that was, you know, when you're going through the draft of a script, when you see it once and it's established once, if you see it multiple times, it should read like, hey, this is in here too much. We need to axe that. You know, there's a lot of cringy dialogue and acting in this movie. Now for some that doesn't bother. They go, well, it's not your movie. It's okay, fine. That's totally fine. That's fair. You're allowed to think that. That's fine. There was cringy dialogue in the first movie too. Yes, there was. Of course there was. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. The original. I love when people try to sort of undermine what I'm saying by trying to poke fun at my favorite in the series. You know, well, the acting in Halloween wasn't very, it was, yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? Holy geez, the acting in the original Halloween is a lot of wooden shit in that movie, but you can also forgive it a little bit because it's a $320,000 independent horror movie that was supposed to go nowhere, you know, with actors that were largely unknown. This is a little different. Your expectations are a tad higher. I was so disappointed and upset with how Tommy died. I felt nothing.
Well, they could have saved it for ends. You know what I mean? Like you had this whole buildup that he was going to, you know, throw down with Michael, and then he takes 2 licks with him with Huckleberry, and then he's dead. It's basically it. It's okay. Well then,
again, I didn't. I needed it. It's Tommy Doyle, man. This is Tommy Doyle. You know, this is a legacy character. This is we need to feel something here. But, you know, I'm not against killing legacy characters, but you gotta do it in a way that you can feel it.
When it comes to legacy characters, no one beats the GOAT. The GOAT, Marion Chambers, right? Isn't that her name?
Yep, Marion Chambers, right there, ladies and gentlemen.
The only character to be killed twice in this franchise, played by the same actress in 2 different timelines.
Yeah. And her demise, even though I'm not a Halloween H2O fan at all, really. I mean, I don't hate it, but I
like her killing H2O though. Better than this.
Way better. Yeah, it felt better. You got more time with her. It felt earned. It felt better. This kid needs a punch in the face. I'm
Tell
sorry.
Me how you really feel, though.
Listen, there are certain kids and certain people in the world that need punches in the face. Listen, I'm sure there's people watching this stream right now that think Dave McRae needs a punch in the face. Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
One good punch from Tyson. You know, that's all.
That's it. That's it.
She'll get up.
Listen,
with her factory settings reset.
When you have a YouTube channel and you put yourself out there, you start to realize there's a lot of people that go on the internet that need punches in the face.
That's why I love doing this thing on Facebook now, man. I have total control who follows me.
There you go.
I got good people interacting with me on the posts and pictures that I'm sharing. Like, that's the way it should be. You don't deal with any bullshit. That's
the way it is. It's the way it is. There he is. There he is. Now, this is, I will say, when the guy here gets the knife in the eye, that's a good kill.
Very good kill.
That's actually a good kill.
This whole sequence is pretty, with Michael doing his thing.
I mean, in terms of, all the kills and things like that.
Stalking Lindsay, I thought was
are all right up to this point.
With no music.
Yes.
Or sound or anything, except for him breathing.
And again, getting this moment with Lindsay when she runs and she's hiding. Again, both of these movies are large. There are moments, there are pockets, like in Vacuum.
Man, she's done.
Yeah. Oh,
Again.
shit. I gotta turn this up.
And this chick just disappears with everything happening. I don't know what the hell happened to her. Why isn't she shooting the gun at him? She has a gun in her hand.
Oh! So, that was Doug Tate right there. Douglas Tate that jumped off the car.
Dr. Loomis!
Dr. Loomis.
Yes. Oh, oh no. This is for Dr. Loomis. She did a good job. What she's been given. Oh, now originally, Michael was going to take her head and smash it against the steering wheel.
That's what they should have done.
Because she actually had a cast done of her face.
They should have done that.
Can you? Maybe awesome. They felt like
that's very Friday the 13th.
I was just gonna say that kill is very Friday the 13th, and I believe the shot was reversed as well. I think it started in the eye, they pulled it out, and then for the film they just reversed it.
Been the whole time. She should have been shooting him.
I
like
know.
The get-go.
I know. Where has she been?
She go on a jog.
What's going on? What's going on? Michael just kicks the door.
Come on, that's too
right
fucking
in the
John
face.
Wick.
Right in the face.
He's gonna kick the door and it's gonna hit her in the hand with a gun and she's gonna.
It is a little too John Wick. Yeah, I know. Michael gets up. He's looking down. He's got little head tilt. I like that. I like that.
That was good.
I like that. I don't have any complaints with the performance of Michael Myers or the mask or anything. Oh!
And Lindsay gets a couple shots in. I really thought she was gonna get it here. I was like,
yeah,
no,
it's happening. It's happening. Right up, yeah, come on,
I'm not
bitches.
ready to see Lindsay get it.
See, there should have been a moment. There should have been a moment where I don't know. You're just kind of like take a moment where like he looks at her almost as if, do I recognize her? Obviously he doesn't, and you don't give
like
any sort of thought where he does.
Like yes, that, maybe a little head tilt.
Yes, just something where maybe, and she's looking at just a little something. Let it breathe. Great. Give it some moment.
The
but
dropping of everything and nothing but her and his breathing.
Yes. Oh yeah. This.
They could have played the shape stock, but I'm glad they didn't.
Well, there's a little. Hang on. There's a very tiny bum.
Very tiny.
Bum. It's very subtle.
You hear more the atmosphere of the crickets and stuff.
You do, and again, like I've said, both of these movies, 18 and Kills, overall are largely void of any real like cutthroat suspense, the kind of suspense that I would like. But this is a moment here that delivered on a little bit of that. There's some tension here. It's quiet. You hear the elements. You hear the breathing. Yeah, you don't even hear any sound anymore.
Nope.
Oh, now you do.
Just him breathing.
Comes up a little bit. It's him breathing. He's looking. I like the shot. And I remember watching this in the theater going, yes. Okay, where is this going to go? Is she going to take off? Are we going to get more of it? Like, where are we going to go with this? I was hoping it was like they were going to draw it out a bit more. But then he goes to the bridge and he walks off and that's sort of it. And it's like, okay, all right. But we don't really get any more of that kind of, this was a good moment. As far as, again, it's not like, it's not so thick you can cut it with a knife.
Love whether it's a moonlight
but
or a
relative
street light,
to
but I love
everything
the
else.
reflection of the light that's hitting his mask.
Seeing him in the water there, or seeing his reflection, seeing her, it's good. Like it's. I give credit where credit is due. That's a moment that was good. We need more of that. I don't mean, sure. And for those of you that are going to go, all Dave cares about, shut the fuck up. No, I don't. It's not all I care about. It's just little moments like that are so important that elevate these Halloween films that I wish there was just more moments like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I want a carbon copy of the original. Obviously not. I'm not saying that I want to be a beat for beat remake. Obviously not. But there's certain little nuances and things where you're like, no, can we, Shut the fuck up. Michael's gone. Oh, awkward. She doesn't know. Awkward. This is awkward. This would be really awkward. Wouldn't it?
Sharing a room with
No. How she's like, Michael's dead. We did it. And Karen knows he's not. It'd be like, ooh, this is kind of awkward. I remember once we were out on Lake Cherokee in this canoe with a shaman from Little Rock. Your daddy got freaked out by his own reflection. He took off his pants. And
that's what peyote will do to you, man. You'll trip balls on that shit.
Yeah.
I got offered to do that once. I almost did it, but I chickened out. Because I've just heard crazy things about peyote, and I'm just like, nope, not going down that road.
Oh. I don't.
He surely needs a support system, doesn't he? I need you guys.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. Anyway, I'll stop thinking. That's what you have to do.
Marion! You guys be careful, okay? Your heads up.
Yeah, okay. And Marion is hanging from a swing set. Well, first we get the two doctors. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, just going to get a few of these super chats here. Gentle on James. Yeah, there's Marion. That's actually not Marion. It's not actually the actress, but that's supposed to be her. Sends in $2, says, is killing Michael a criminal act punishable by law? Probably. I don't know. Maybe not if it's in self-defense. Carl III sends in $4.99, says, sad we can't dislike a scene because then I'm called anti... I see. Yeah. Everything these days, it's offensive. Can't have Aunt Jemima. Can't say Merry Christmas. It's true. Well, we live in a world where people are professionally offended.
Fuck, I will always say Merry Christmas till the day I die. They can suck a dick.
Well, of course. Same here. I don't give a frog's fat ass who's offended. If you're offended by that, you need to get out more. Chad Powers sends in $2, says, best James Jude film.
Need a fucking hobby.
I think it's Teenage Caveman. I don't really know James' his filmography.
I don't know James's work.
So I'm not sure. And Movie Chat and More Part 2 sends in £5 and says, hey guys, if Michael literally passes his evil over to Corey, does that mean Myers has been full on supernatural since 1978? Nope. No, it does not mean that. It does not mean that. Yeah, she still doesn't know because Karen didn't... Now, I remember when I was watching this in the theater, I liked, because Will Patton is such a great character actor, I did like sort of the back and forth.
One of my favorite modern day character actors in movies. He always plays just a good part.
He does. And I like the interaction between her and Hawkins. I think it's good. It's not overdone. It's just good. They don't oversell it. They don't overplay it. You get to learn a bit more about their past and their relationship.
It's Karen's father. I've heard the.
I don't think so.
Rumors on. I don't think so either.
No, I don't think they're going to play it like that.
Theories on that one.
Yeah, no. I don't think they'll play that.
I think Jamie's father.
I think
coming back in Ends.
Oh God. Jeez.
Can you imagine?
I know.
They have like an Avengers Endgame. Oh, you've never seen it, so you wouldn't get the reference.
No.
There's a moment in Endgame when like everyone basically comes back from the dead. They all show up in this big moment to beat Thanos. So that's what Ends is going to be like. Josh Hartnett's going to pop out. Daniel Harris is going to pop up.
Yep.
Rachel's going to pop up. They're gonna play some episodic music, and they're gonna take Michael out.
That'd be so funny.
Laurie's gonna be like, I don't know, what would be a good name for them? Can't call them the Avengers.
I know.
Gotta think of a good name for them.
I did get your super chat, Carl. I answered it. You said, where was it here? You said, yeah, you said it's sad that we can't say certain things anymore, and I agreed. I agreed, and so did Tony, and we both said that we're not going to stop saying Merry Christmas. So yeah, no, we got it. You must have been out of the room. Oh,
I got it. You know what they say?
I was telling my wife, so I wasn't going to put a bullet in his brain.
You got Hartnett, you got Daniel Harris, you got Ellie Cornell. Hell, you even got Buster Rhymes. He comes into frame. They all look at Michael, and Buster just says, "Trick or treat, motherfucker."
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I'm waiting for the first.
Because Captain America says Avengers Assemble. That's the first and only time he says it in the whole run, which is a big thing for, I guess, Marvel or whatever. So that would be Halloween's tagline: "Trick or treat, motherfucker."
Might as well be.
It would be great.
This is the last we see of Lindsay until Halloween ends.
Yeah,
I don't think we see her again for the rest of the movie.
Again, not properly utilized of her character. Instead, they're wasting it on moments like a protest scene of Evil Dies Tonight. Okay.
Oh, here it comes. 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 Here it comes.
He's got no choice but to emerge. He is an apex predator. When he surfaces, there will be no pause. There will be no empathy. This ends when Michael is dead.
You know what I would have done in that scene? When he says that he's an
Myers
apex
will be executed
character
tonight, and it will
or
not
kill
go
whatever,
without witness.
I would have raised my hand and said, "What's an apex killer?"
Please, all of you.
Just to be a dick.
Tonight. Evil dies tonight. All right,
Apex predator.
That's two.
The sheriff's department has this.
No, Sheriff, we will
No. You sit your fucking ass down, bitch.
This is Haddonfield. This is our town.
Yeah.
Killed my daughter 40 years ago.
Oh, God, shut up with the 40 years ago bracket.
Tonight.
God damn it, Brackett. I am the law, not you. Jones.
Oh, man. There could have been so much good tension being built, but,
I know.
it's just, God damn.
I tell you what, there's moments in this movie where Rob Zombie looks like a genius in his first film. I'm just saying.
I wish we would have gotten more of an emotional reunion between Tommy and Laurie. It just feels like they've been friends for the last 40 years. Like it's not a big deal walking in to see her. Again, that's just how I feel about it. There's a lot of things I would have structured differently, but yeah.
Go find them. Avengers are going to assemble.
Go. Oh, and the way she's like, go
find
Tommy.
my son. Go find my other daughter.
The way she says, go Tommy, go, sounded staged again. There's a lot of stuff. I know, there are going to be people that are going to be watching this going, oh, you guys, I'm telling you, I'm not, man. I'm not. I'm telling you. It's not. If you love the movie, it's great. I can't take that away from you. But you're not going to convince me it's fucking great. So we might as well just cut ties right now. There's things in Halloween Kills that I like, but overall, Halloween 18 is a better movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Kills there's more going on and there's more action and there's more blood and kills and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think that's literally possible unless you know about medicine and you know how to
Oh, you mean like just inject
how she just inject herself with it? Yeah. Well,
she's fucking, Laurie is not pulling any punches here. No. If I die. No, you and Allison should not have to keep running because of the darkness that I created, honey. So you just have to let me go. No, Mom, stop, Mom, listen, Mom, listen. Holy fuck, Mom, stop, that's a big knife. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. You already did, bitch.
What movie is this again?
I don't know what movie this is. I have no idea. I can't remember.
Does anybody know in the chat room? What movie is this?
Yeah, that's on the.
Little John and Big John are watching
I
while
don't
they're
know.
smoking some weed.
That's a good question.
I've been urging for some weed lately. I really have.
In all serious, I mean, I'm hamming it up here for the show, but in all seriousness, if you really do love this movie, like I think that's awesome. And if it worked for you and you love it from start to finish and you didn't find any issues with the acting or the pacing or the structure or the execution of certain scenes or whatever, that's awesome.
think
like
for the most part,
sincerely,
people know we're just
that's
having
great.
fun. We're not being,
Yeah,
we're not-
like I'm just like,
we're
please
not
understand.
shitting- No, I've said it. Like,
Yeah.
like
we're
raved about the flashback sequence, raved about Michael's scenes, there's a lot of good in there. Unfortunately, you can't deny the fact that there's just some bad performances, not
there's
acting,
some bad stuff.
but just bad performance moments from the actors in this movie.
Yeah.
No fault to their own. It's just
Well, I just know I just know that there are some viewers that tune into me or tune into us, and they think when I'm
Give a
hamming
shit.
it up, you know what I mean? When I'm hamming it up and I'm like fuck, they think that I'm this arrogant, but it's like no, guys, I'm having fun. Relax, Jesus.
You can't have fun anymore, Dave.
I know you can't because people
can't.
take you
just
so
can't.
literally. Which I guess, I mean, if you don't know me that, well, not that anybody knows me, but if you don't know my humor or my style, I get it. I get it. But please understand, if you do like this movie and think it's amazing, I think that's awesome. I wish I could have liked it more than I did. I don't think it's the worst in the franchise, but
No, there's like I said, there's a lot to like about it, and then there's just moments that you're just like, okay, then.
well, with the whole hospital evil dies tonight mob mentality, chasing some
That's what
Danny
I'm
DeVito
saying.
through
Like,
the
I would
hospital.
have sat there with them, like, really, we don't want to do more character development with Lindsay, maybe, instead of wasting our time filming this bullshit. And I get it, I have my reasons why I think they added it into the film, given the timing of it. But I just I mean, I don't know. I just think I think we could have done better as far as spending more time with different characters and developing them rather than focusing on a dumb fucking scene.
Well, and I'll be honest with you,
just a dumb fucking scene.
In terms of
Evil Dies Tonight protest, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. In terms of
like
legacy,
this is all right between.
well,
Little
it's
John,
fine,
Big
but
John.
it's still got that cheeky, now he's look, if somebody was literally in your house, you wouldn't be like, you see how it's being played kind of like he's taking off his rings and let's go get this motherfucker. I'm not saying you wouldn't defend yourself. I'm just saying, and he picks up a small knife and because he's Big John, right? So he's got the small knife and, here's Little John's got the big knife and he's the bigger guy. And I just feel, it's just, again, it's that I just wouldn't have played it tongue in cheek like that. I would have played it more serious, that's all. That's all. You could have the same characters, have a gay couple that lives in the house. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But I just would have played it more serious rather than like a little sort of sketch comedy kind of thing. But that's my opinion. But in terms of the legacy characters, I would not have brought back Brackett. I would have not brought back Marion. The only two I would have brought back, and I would not have brought back Lonnie. Now, it's not the same guy, obviously, but the character, I wouldn't have brought back him either. I would have brought back Tommy and Lindsay, and that's it. And I would have had a lot of the film focus on them. Not that they're together or a couple, but that the town is almost looking to them for answers. And Tommy and Lindsay, you could have the same guy, you could have Anthony Michael Hall, and they're overwhelmed because they were children when they experienced that. So they have to kind of step up and they have to take on a role which is kind of like what they're doing, but it comes at it from a different perspective because you have more time to nurture that relationship and those characters because you're not spending so much time on stuff that just doesn't matter. And you really build those characters up so that when they do die or Tommy dies or Lindsay dies or one of them dies, you really feel it, and then you're not wasting time on other shit. That's what I would have done. But, hey, it's just a difference in creative choice, And there are a lot of people that like it. Like there are a lot of people that love it. And that's great. I think it's great. There's just certain things that just
Michael's here. He's going to be showing himself into the fucking crowd and she's going to scream out, Michael.
Yeah,
it's me.
Listen,
I'm here.
I know that people like, I I know you can make an argument and say, well, it's a commotion, it's confusion. Maybe it is. They think it's Michael.
It's an unnecessary scene.
It's just, yeah, evil dies tonight.
It's an unnecessary scene.
Oh God, here it is. I gotta turn this
I would
on.
have sat there in the production room with the team and said,
Here it is.
really? We can't think of anything better than this shit. We can't spend any more time with Lindsay. We can't spend any more time with Allison. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. No, we're gonna film Evil Dies Tonight.
For me, the mob, the whole hospital mob thing was slipped into the script as a way for social commentary. And as I've said many times, there's nothing wrong with social commentary. So social commentary in horror films is nothing new. It's been around for decades. It will continue to be around. But it is usually subtext, and it's usually done in a way that doesn't sort of, kind of deviate and sort of hinder on the pacing of a film, just for the sole purpose of delivering a message. And in this movie, it felt like that. It felt like we're going to take a commercial break now and deliver this social comment. And it's like, it doesn't feel, it's like, I know what you want, Jamie. I know this is really important to you. I know that you really want your social commentary and your trauma and your generational trauma and your mob mentality because, oh, look, we're drawing. Guys, it's a Halloween movie. It's a slasher movie. Now, that doesn't mean that I understand, you want to make it a bit more and I get it. I mean, I've preached this on this channel that you just can't make the same movie over and over, or you have to be careful, or you would just be making the same movie over and over again. I get that you got to take risks. I get that you want to do something new. I get all that. But there's just certain things that I'm like, it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel natural. It feels synthetic and shoehorned in. That's my opinion. Here we are. Michael is now killing Big John. Oh, the eye gouge!
The eye gouge. Another kind of Friday the 13th type kill.
Yep. Oh, the eyeballs coming out. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. It's cool. The effects are cool. Shout out to Christopher Nelson. Amazing effects. Amazing effects. I think he would have been a little more scared when he sees Michael, rather than just saying, oh, you came home.
You came home.
Yeah, I think I would have just been more...
Can we be BFFs?
Yeah, see?
Right?
That's
what I feel like that's what he's about to say.
Yeah.
Michael, can we be BFFs?
You've come home.
About to do the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm watching it, so I like the way he's lit there. It's Judith's bedroom. That's in Judith's bedroom.
Oh, God, we're back to this shit.
Here we are. Oh, yeah. Evil dies tonight. Social commentary tonight. Mob mentality tonight. The mob mentality in the United States tonight.
In this movie.
How people get misinformation tonight. I mean, that's what this is all about. And listen, I'm not knocking it, but that's what this is.
That's what it is.
No, I know that's what it is. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, and fucking Lori just needs a doctor.
Because there's no reason for it to be in a Halloween movie.
What I mean by I'm not knocking it is the principle of it. It's the like if you want to, it's fine, but this is clearly shoehorned in as a way to draw a parallel to the, and Jamie Lee, listen, I don't want to get political, okay? I don't want to get political. I don't want this to start down a political road, but I'm just saying that Jamie Lee Curtis has drawn on your January 6th incident, as a parallel to what's going on here. The only problem with that is that this movie was shot 5 months before that incident. So, really it's, it's not like you can say that we did this scene because of that. But I know that she has mentioned things like that in the past. I get what she was going for. I get what they're trying to do, but it doesn't feel organic. It takes away from all the other stuff that you could be nurturing. As Tony said, the characters, the legacy characters, more with Michael Myers, this whole idea about, oh, look what can happen when people lose their minds. That's fine. I get that. But I'm not feeling it, man. It takes me away. It's just the pacing and these people are, this guy, and I'm just not feeling it. It's me.
Yeah, well.
And also too, I want to say too, sorry Tony, I just want to say that I don't believe doctors and nurses would be behaving this way. I don't believe doctors and nurses would be acting out of like losing their minds and just, you know, and then and then that buys right into what they're trying to, well, you see, that's what we're trying to say, is that even these people can, and it's like, no, man, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Doctors and nurses punching patients and just like, anyway, Tony, sorry, go ahead.
I forgot now because I'm just not feeling this.
No, of course not. It's hard for me to believe that Lori knees a doctor in the gut and doctors are throwing Karen to the ground and the doctors are losing it. It's like if anybody should be losing it.
That's another thing. Instead of this stupid nonsense, they could have done another flashback sequence. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Yeah, no, listen, again, like I've said, social commentary is nothing new. I welcome it if it's powerful and if it's subtext and it's really woven in.
Horror movie.
See this shit here, beating Michael to the ground, emasculating him in that way. I'm not a big fan of taking the mask off, you know, seeing him there might not bother you. You might think I'm nitpicking. Maybe I am, but it's not something that I would have shown. I think it's unnecessary to show this. I actually think it might have been more powerful just to stay on Hawkins and just see him recite it. I understand we're in a show don't tell medium, but sometimes if it's, like I said, if it's properly motivated and Lori doesn't know this information, if you just stay on Hawkins and allow his performance to really resonate and carry the story through, it can be very powerful. I don't necessarily think we need to cut back and see it.
Sure.
Just let his performance allow the audience to picture it in their own minds and allow his performance to carry it through. That's what I would have done.
I just hate politics in general and anything related to politics. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, look,
we had a saying about our school political people back in the day who did like the school student union stuff and all that shit. You were fucking dorks if you're into that.
Well,
that's my thing on it.
Sure,
and I just don't think it doesn't belong in a Halloween movie. You want to put it in something else, but not in a fucking slasher film. When I'm going to see a slasher film, I want to see people get fucked up. I want to see people make out. Back in the 80s, I would have said I want to see people fuck, but we're not doing that anymore. So we're making out and just keep it fucking simple. That's it. Keep it simple.
I think I agree with you in the sense that these are Halloween movies. I think it's important to not.
There's a time and a place, basically.
Sure. And I think that again, there's nothing wrong with social commentary in and of itself, but I think one of the reasons why it might really feel awkward. The scene feels awkward and out of place is because it is a Halloween movie, and so you are trying to elevate the film and the story, which in principle there's nothing wrong with, but it's a very tricky task to do when it's a Halloween movie because this kind of depth that you're trying to create doesn't necessarily belong in a Halloween movie. And then you could say, well, who's to say it doesn't? And it's like, well, I get it. I get it. I can see both sides. But the bottom line is, for me and for a lot of people, and I'm not the only one, Tony's not the only one, for a lot of people, it didn't work. It didn't work.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what Frank just said.
That's funny, Frank. That's funny. I like that. That's good. That's good.
It's true though, right? You got to have like fucking check marks before you hook up with your woman. Be like, so are we consummating tonight or what? Great. Let's have it notarized and witnessed.
See, I don't think these doctors would be losing their minds.
No, this whole scene is just, again, like I'd sit there and say to them, like, really, we can't come up with anything better than this. Okay.
Well, it takes away from like this whole.
You've lost the momentum of the movie right now. You really have. Like I'm so tuned out. Like I'm focusing in on the chat room right now because I'm so tuned out. Like I have zero interest in what's going on at the moment.
Well, see, and they're trying to like. Yeah. So what this is about, obviously, right, is the fact that when people receive misinformation, you can, because obviously it's not Michael, and look what happens when a crazy mob, doesn't think clearly, doesn't get the right information. They force an innocent man to fall to his death. I mean, that is now that in and of itself, me just saying that, to you, it's powerful stuff, right? Sure. Yeah. But but to put that in a Halloween movie, and to take so long with it, what do we, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. And I'm not the only one. I get what you're trying to say, but put it in another movie, not a Halloween movie.
Yeah, your whole, like, the momentum you've been building in this movie, you've lost it, and you lost your audience at this point. No one's caring. No one's giving a shit about this.
Yeah.
No one cares about the depths that you're trying. It's a fucking Halloween movie, man. Shit.
And the thing is,
there's no layers that needs to be. The only layers, if you want to have layers and peel back the layers, then do it on Michael.
Well, no, not even him. Not even him. Do it on your legacy characters.
Or that too, yeah.
Do it on your legacy, because you don't want to peel back too many layers on the Shape. But in terms of like Tommy and Lindsay and Lori, which is where the focus should have been, peel back those layers there. But again, the story they've written is all about how all this whole thing is affecting the town. Okay, well that's what they
said here in the chat room, like how Halloween 4, they executed the mob thing, and I can't pronounce your name, bro. Vive la France, something like that. Halloween 4 did execute a better mob scene than this film. They certainly did, because it wasn't a mob scene in the sense of being political. It was, as I've often referenced, because it's one of my favorite books, if you've ever read Frankenstein, when the townspeople go to kill the monster, that's what Earl and his boys were going to do. They found out it was Michael when Loomis and Brackett had the little thing at the police station, and then the mob of the boys, the town people, went to go kill Michael. They went on the hunt for him. They weren't sitting there chanting shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Again, it's not the chanting. I mean, well, it is the chanting, but it's
chanting, definitely.
It's the whole, but it's everything. It's the
they didn't stay with the mob thing in Halloween 4 very long. You know what I mean? You got a couple snippets here and there, but not like what we got in this, where you literally kill the momentum of your film.
And Brackett, at the very end there, looks at everybody and says, he's turning us all into monsters.
I meant Meeker.
Sorry?
Halloween 4. Sorry, I meant Meeker in Halloween 4. I think I said Brackett by mistake.
I don't know, but Brackett here at the end of the whole thing, when the guy jumps and falls to his death, he turns to everybody and says, he's turning us all into monsters. That's like the wink to the audience. Oh, in case you didn't know what this whole thing was all about, he's turning us all into monsters. And it's like, you shouldn't need to do that if it's done well. You shouldn't have that moment where the character goes, oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, here's what this is all about, because it's subtext, it's subliminal, right? It seeps into it's a feeling you get, rather than a so on the nose. And again, I mean, if it worked for you, that's great. I get what they were trying to do, but I think, as Tony says, I think it kills any momentum you had, because it doesn't feel organic. It feels like you're just trying to say something. And maybe that's it. I mean, because usually social commentary in horror movies especially is subtext, right? It's woven in underneath. It's more subliminal rather than outright and upfront. And that's why I think it threw a lot of fans off. It's like, what are we doing here? Why is this, it's not a theme. It's the theme, or what's, I don't know. I mean, it is. I mean, there definitely is a theme of mob mentality in this movie, but it just didn't work.
In fact, I was just thinking about Halloween 4 here for a moment. In fact, the only, other than when they gather at the police station, the boys, the only scene they have is when they accidentally shoot Ted Hollister. That's it. And that lasts for maybe a minute? And then the next time you see them is when they pick up Rachel and Jamie at the school. And then there's obviously the climax of 4 with the truck and everything.
Well, yeah.
So you're not spending a lot of time with the mob in Halloween 4. It's very confined. It's executed, well enough to where we're not losing momentum at that point in Halloween 4,
right?
And what they were telling here. How long did we stay in that hospital? It seemed like for about 10 minutes.
How long have we been talking about it?
Right.
Well, I think too, you see what would have to happen is, because Halloween Kills is written in a way where,
and we're still here with a mob.
We
Jesus
are.
Christ.
Because Halloween Kills is written in a way where the mob mentality is a theme for the middle part of this movie, it would take restructuring the story. Like you would have to be able to make it more of kind of a thing in the background. You'd have to restructure the whole middle part, which I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's certainly not just a matter of sort of editing it. I mean, I don't think you could edit around it. I think you'd have to have other scenes that take its place because of how prominent it is. And again, it's not that it couldn't have worked, but I just think when people watch a Halloween movie, they expect a certain level of storytelling, and I think what David Gordon Green,
there's a tempo to these movies.
Sure, yes, and I think what the writers have attempted to do was, dare I say, elevate these Halloween films, which I mean, it's not wrong in and of itself, but trying to elevate them not into like elevated horror territory like Hereditary, but elevate them beyond just a run-of-the-mill slasher, which I understand because you don't want to just do the same movies over again, but it's tricky, because at the end of the day, it's Michael Myers tearing shit up, and that's what people want to see, and that's what they come for. That doesn't mean you can't have a story, and you shouldn't have good characters with good dialogue, but to add some depth and weight to it is tricky. It's not easy to do, and if it's done sort of not right, or if it's too obvious, it can ruin the momentum. And I think that's happened in large part here. A lot of cringy dialogue, a lot of cringy performances, and the pacing of the movie because of that middle part of the film is strangely strange. So we're an hour and 28 minutes basically into the movie now.
He's about to walk into the Myers house.
Yep. He's going in. I think actually Lonnie should have arrived by himself. Hey, I think he should have arrived by him because he was.
Your ass away from
that's
there.
Exactly why. Because he was afraid to go in. And he never got a chance to go in because of Dr. Loomis. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away, right? And so he ran away. Now, obviously, he's alone here and he's going in, but I think it would have been cool if he was alone.
They could have done a flashback sequence with Loomis and him and that whole. That would have been a good execution to put that in here. Sure.
But I think it just would have been cool if Lonnie arrived at the house by himself. The porch lights were off. So all the lights in the house were off. So it looked very sort of similar. It's not abandoned, but it almost kind of looks like it is. And Lonnie walks up, and we live with that moment with that character. He's approaching the house, and that's when, as you said, maybe you hear disembodied voices from that night. You hear Loomis's voice, get your ass away, all that kind of stuff. And he's approaching, he's reliving that night, and he's walking up to the house, and he gets to the porch. But Allison and Cameron are not in the car. They're not there. Right. He's alone. Now, maybe they show up later, but he's alone, and he's walking, and he opens the door, and we see him. See, right now we're with Allison and Cameron. We're not with Lonnie. I think we should have been with Lonnie. He comes into the house, right? He's walking around, he's reliving that night, or he's accomplishing, he's doing something he was afraid to do 40 years ago. And then maybe we see his death or, whatever. But, and then maybe these two show up or something like that. But just to be with that character as they experience that moment, I think would have been cool, rather than just kind of sort of with him when he approaches the door. Because again, he's a legacy character. Now, again, the actor's not the same actor, obviously, but the character's a legacy character. So it would have been nice to nurture that moment, because what do we know about Lonnie?
I've said it. Michael Myers is an Anne Murray fan.
There you go.
Because he flipped and changed the album. If you notice, with Little John and Big John were not listening to that record. So clearly Michael flipped through the vinyl and he saw Anne Murray. He said, fuck yeah, I'm putting that on.
He's putting it on. But I just want to finish by saying that... again, because he's a legacy, Anne Murray, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because he's a legacy character, it would have been nice to have that moment with him, to nurture that moment. But we didn't. He just walked in and we never saw him again until we see his death. posing of the bodies. A lot of people sort of found that weird. I don't know why. Michael's MO is to pose bodies. He posed Annie, for Christ's sakes.
I mean, right. He posed Linda,
Linda and Bob too. So
like, fuck.
So this is completely. I was completely fine when I saw that.
Yeah, that's totally his MO.
Mm-hmm.
Michael gets down with the Anne Murray.
Yep. Frank says Cameron should have shot his dad, and Lonnie's last breath is, "You're adopted."
Right?
That's funny. That's good.
Perfect.
Now here is a little bit of suspense, right? There's a little bit of suspense here, right? He's cocking the gun back. He's walking up. You can feel it a little bit. This is when the blood starts to drop from the ceiling and we see the dead body of Lonnie. But I like that shot, the lighting on the two closet doors there. I like the way it looks, right? We're getting some moments. We need more of this. More of this. We need more of these moments. Not the whole movie. I'm just saying these are nice moments when they happen. And then, of course, he sees his dad, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to see his death. I would have liked to have seen Lonnie come face to face with the shape again. But anyway, here we are. Michael fucks Cameron up.
Yeah, he does.
Fucks Cameron up. Here it is.
She gets a couple stabs.
She does. She does. Here it comes. Look at that. Looking at her. Oh! Oh! Down the steps. Shout out to the stunt woman. Oh!
Hurting her leg like grandma.
Yep, that's right.
Remember in the first film?
Yeah, when she went over that's right. She did hurt her leg. Oh, it's great stuff.
Good theme here, or that Carpenter score.
Oh, the music's great. Music's great. And this is a great death. This is a great death. 100%. This is a great death. Oh, I love when he's putting his head up and down and back and forth and come and get me, motherfucker. It's great. Yeah. Don't worry. You got a new boyfriend coming in a few years named Corey Cunningham. He's a much better dude. He's a much better guy.
Totally better guy.
Totally better.
Absolutely.
He's
nothing crazy about that dude at all.
No, he's way better than...
Not like he's got to pretend that he's Michael Myers and go around killing people.
Exactly. I like that shot of James there at the top of the stairs. Coming down. That, yeah. Song's great. Yep. Yep. You should just... Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yeah. He's dead, bitch.
Gone.
He's like, what do you think of that, woman? What do you think of that? Ooh. Now, wait a minute. She's holding her own. I mean, let's not forget, this is a guy that, tore up some big 6 foot, 200-pound firefighters. So he's doing well. Oh, the pitchfork in the bag.
Little Friday the 13th Part 2 genie.
Yes. Move. Yes. Oh, right in the bag. He takes it out. Yeah, what do you think of that? Oh.
That's a fucking headache.
Has anybody ever thought to pick up the gun and shoot him in the head? No.
No, of course not. Why would they go for the headshot?
We can't do that. We can't do that.
Can't do that.
We can't do that. Taking off the mask. I would not have done that, but
now he's weak.
For some reason, David Gordon Green loves to take the mask off this character.
Absolutely.
And one of the things the reason why I don't like his mask being removed is because we live in a day and age now where we know who the actor is playing Michael Myers, right? We know it's James Jude Courtney. We know what he looks like. You see, years ago, before the internet, before social media, I mean, you hire a stunt guy, you don't know what he looks like. Like, you don't know. I mean, nobody knew who Nick Castle looked like.
Dialogue. I'm an innocent woman.
I know.
Like his sister was.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. It's cringy. It's cringy.
What the fuck?
It's cringy.
I'm an innocent woman.
I know.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. It is a little
Michael,
cringy.
Put her out of her
is.
misery, bro.
But I just want to finish by saying that, like, I know that, David Gordon Green has done a good job at, we don't see his face clearly. I mean, it's in shadow. It's kind, again in shadow. But because we know what James Jude Courtney looks like, when we see his head, whether kind of from the back or the side, I just see James Jude Courtney. We know the face. And that's, see right now, I can totally see James Jude Courtney's face, even though I'm looking at the back of Michael Myers' head. Yeah, and I don't want to see that. And so that's why, see, it's not like it was in the old days where you didn't know who it was. You hire a stunt guy.
Nick Castle looked like.
You didn't know what Nick Castle looked like, or Dick Warlock looked like, or George P. Wilbur looked like. You didn't know.
There was no social media.
There was no social media. There was no internet. We didn't, there was conventions and people signing autographs and all this kind of shit. But now with his mask off, I see James Jude Courtney. And that's, for that reason, if not that reason alone, I would have left the mask on. I mean, we know it's James Jude anyway,
all these
but
motherfuckers couldn't take this dude out.
Well, here it is. Here it is.
Title of one good scare.
Why would he say that? Why would he say, "Hey, Michael, it's Halloween"? I get why. I get why.
I love
but
this song too.
Yeah,
the song that he's putting on.
Oh, it's great.
Too. Yeah,
it's great shit. Listen to that. Boom, putting the mask on. Oh, it's on, bitches. You're going down. You're going down. You're going down.
Telling me, all these motherfuckers could not beat this dude to a pulp.
Well, and he gets shot point blank range here in a second. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and where's the woman with the iron? She's there. She's gonna iron his clothes after.
You don't stop swinging when a dude is down. You keep going.
That's it. Now this, I believe this, boom, boom, boom. This was really shot in the street. Yeah, point blank. Point blank. Look at that. Look at that.
They're going through him. Like,
they're going through him.
On.
They're going through him. They're beating him down. This is the point where it's like, okay,
this is how they should have ended it. I mean, really, like, if you want to figure out your exit, this is your exit, that you wasted it in this movie.
Yeah, just a whole mob kicking him, beating him, lighting him on fire.
I said it earlier. It's the Frankenstein metaphor. The townspeople kill the monster.
Yeah.
It's a great metaphor. They just executed it in the middle part of the 3-part trilogy.
Go be with your daughter. And she stabs him in the back. Why not the neck? Why doesn't somebody cut his head off? Somebody cut his head off.
I don't know.
Now, again, there are people say, oh, he's supernatural. Again, he's not human. He's always been half and half. He's always, again, like John Carpenter has said, and I believe the intention on this, he is a human being, but there's a supernatural element to him. There's an essence to him, which is why he's able to survive this, right? There is that, what? I don't understand. How is he able to, this doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? But if you were to literally now, not Halloween H2O bullshit, if you were to literally chop off his head, it would be the end of him. He would die. It's not like Jason or Freddy where he's, a dream demon and he just comes back the next day, or, his head suddenly rolls over to his body and reattaches or something. That's not going to happen. So that's what I mean by he is human. Like if you were to actually saw off his head and stop his heart from beating and the blood from seeping through his veins, he would literally die. But look at this. But that aside,
I'm sorry. This is John Wick. This is way too fucking John Wick.
And this was shot in a studio. That's why you see it's all black behind them and everything. They didn't shoot this on.
I hated when I remember
great
first
effects.
watching it, I was like, it's cool, but
it's cool effects.
I don't need John Wick, Michael Myers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no.
Yeah, I know.
And nobody's doing anything. You're telling me, look, if you're a mob of people with weapons, yeah, he may be able to take one or two of you motherfuckers out, but you all are just standing there like fucking morons. Yeah. Like, what the hell? You would think that somebody right now would be jumping on his back, right? Or, and pounding something him with the bat or something, or wow. Yeah. Just listen. The effects are great. Shout out to Christopher Nelson, man. I feel like fucking great effects. I feel like high school kids fucking got a big budget to make a movie.
I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't go that
cool.
far.
Let's
I
make
wouldn't.
this, even though it makes no sense.
I
It's
wouldn't.
still gonna be cool.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. But I would say there's creative choices that I, of course, absolutely don't agree with. Now, again, some people think, did she literally see, young Michael in the window? No, I think it's just, I don't know. It's just an essence. She was able to see some sort of essence.
And now Tommy's out.
And this is unfortunate. Look at this. Now, they try to give a moment. Here it is. Everything stops. It gets quiet. They're looking at each other, right? The blackest eyes. They cut to him. He's looking. You hear the boom. They're trying to give that moment, right? Why? Because he's a legacy. But that's it. Now, I will say it's a cool shot of the shape, though. Like the lighting the way he's lit. And of course, here's the moment. Tommy's like looking up like, no, but I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. And I feel like I know I should feel something. This is Tommy Doyle. You can't kill the boogeyman. Laurie, what's the boogeyman? Like, this is legacy character shit. I should feel something. And I think if you'd gotten rid of Marion and Brackett and the whole mob mentality thing and really nurtured the relationship with Tommy and Lindsay, and their struggle.
I'm saying, get rid of the hospital bullshit and focus more with Tommy and Lindsay. You would have cared more about Tommy's death. But Tommy going out like the way he went out, you don't care because that's like, all right, well, he came, he saw, he got killed.
And again,
that's it.
And I want to say this because I do sincerely mean this. We're not crapping on the movie. I don't want people to think that. Making movies is really, really hard. Okay.
Yeah, but dude.
No, hang on.
They could have made way better decisions.
Of course they could have. I was just going to say, but I don't, we, lots of people don't agree with a lot of the creative decisions they've made. And that's fair. There's creative decisions I did in It's Me, Billy that people don't agree with.
Even though it's shot badly,
I still
love it.
There it is.
Totally trying to go for a Psycho moment, but just not working.
Yeah, I didn't. It was too stylized to me. I didn't quite.
Psycho. They tried to do the Janet Leigh Psycho thing.
Yeah.
She can't die. She can't die.
Yeah.
She can't die. God, I'm so glad to see that character gone.
Now this is where it ended in the theater. It ended in the theater, kind of like right there.
Yeah. No. Now we're gonna get the phone call.
And then we get the phone call. Yeah. Well, not yet.
Now.
Cell phone's vibrating. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
How would Michael know to pick up a phone? I don't know, but he was doing very well last night.
I would have loved to have seen. Well, maybe not. You're doing very well last night.
Laurie, what is it?
Laurie, what is it? I'm drunk on morphine. Pop, 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 pop. I think her reaction should have been.
I'm coming for you, Michael.
I mean, yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
Well, it is, but
it's kind of.
Do they have a take two? If they have a take two, I'd like to see take two.
Or 3 or 4.
No. It's the tone of her voice. I would have liked more of a.
Well, I kind of liked where she was going with initially. She looked like she was about to break down because she knows her daughter's dead.
Right.
And then she went into fucking
and then
Terminator
cutting
mode.
on the knife there, and there we are. Halloween Kills.
We survived another
And that
watching.
is it, ladies and gentlemen. Halloween Kills, the extended cut. We have done it, folks. If you are watching after the fact, comment below and let Tony and I know your thoughts on Halloween Kills, either the theatrical cut or the extended cut. Maybe you disagree with our thoughts on the whole mob mentality scene and the social commentary that they were trying to implement in there. Maybe it worked for you. Comment below and let us know. Maybe it didn't work for you. Comment below and let us know. Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? Keep it civil in the comment section below, but let Tony and I know your thoughts on Halloween Kills. Maybe it's grown on you. Maybe you hated it when you first watched it, but now you love it. Maybe you loved it when you first watched it, but now you don't like it. Sometimes those things can happen. Again, we can agree to disagree. We all have difference of opinions. Sometimes I look at these things from a different perspective than maybe the average, fan or moviegoer. But at the end of the day, if you love the movie, That's okay, and you're welcome here. And I sincerely mean that. I mean, making movies is hard, and certainly I'm not, trying to crap on. It's not personal, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But I, like many fans, when we watch the movie, we go, yeah, there was something that just wasn't jiving with us. There was, when I say something, we've been able to articulate what that is. But there's certain things I like, but then it's like, yeah. So my fingers are crossed for Halloween Ends. I think when you go back to sort of the smaller, more claustrophobic, intimate kind of thing like Halloween 18 was, I think it works better because I think 18 is a better movie than Kills. And by all accounts, from what we know with Halloween Ends, it is more of that smaller kind of thing. So maybe we're going to like Ends more, Tony. Maybe we'll be like, you know what? That was but who knows? Who knows, right?
I'm open-minded to this whole is his name Cameron? What the hell is his name? Not Cameron.
No, Corey.
Yeah. Look, I'm going into it with an open mind. I've said it for weeks now. Either they're gonna land the shit out of this plane or it's gonna fucking crash.
It's true. It's true.
It's what they're unfortunately for them, they've put themselves in a very difficult position with this. There's no wiggle room to fail because you're ending it. You know what I mean? So either you're gonna land it or it's gonna fucking, like they said in Top Gun, crash and burn, Mav.
I agree. And it's we know this, it's out there. The filmmakers have said it. It's different. And look, David Gordon Green has made it very.
Our history with this franchise has not been good.
No, that is true. That is true. And I appreciate the attempt to not just do the same thing over again. I do. I really do, because I've preached on this channel ad nauseum for 4 or 5 years now that the more sequels you make, inevitably you're going to run into this problem. And here we are. I didn't think we would hit it already, but here we are, potentially. But although when you think about it, although it is only the 3rd movie in this trilogy, it's the 13th movie in this franchise. So really, when you look at it from that perspective, is it really a surprise that we're once again divided on certain things? Not really, probably not. Because it might be the 3rd movie, technically, but in this trilogy, but technically it's the 13th movie. But I've said it. It's difficult. I think the Michael Myers story largely has been exhausted now. I think it's over. I think you're going to have to wait 5-10 years. Maybe you remake it, you retell it for a new audience, you reimagine it, still keeping the DNA there, but it's sort of, a new interpretation, like what, we decided to do with or what we talked about.
Do you see that meme with, it's Josh Hartnett? He's on a phone call and he's calling Jamie Lee Curtis, and it says, "Hey, it's 2028. Hey, Jamie, what do you think about picking up from where H2O left off?"
No, I haven't seen that. But I wouldn't do that either.
But it's like but knowing Jamie Lee, I wouldn't be shocked.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. I don't know what Malik Akkad wants to do. I just feel, and I say this not as a Halloween purist, although I will be accused of that. And contrary to what some people might think, I just want them to remake this. I don't want that. But I am somebody that firmly believes that the character, because of the way the character was created, it has a shelf life. It's not the same as Jason or Freddy or Chucky or even Ghostface. It's not the same DNA, unfortunately. And I think that you will listen, you can exhaust those characters too. But the character of Michael, for me, I feel content. I think it's tired now. And I think that it's time to just let this go for a while. But listen, if they remake it 5 years from now, I'm going to be there. I'm a Halloween fan. You'll be there. I'll be there. We'll all be there. But if you want to know my thoughts, do I want this thing to keep going? I don't. And it's not because I'm not a fan. It's just I'm okay now. Like, things are.
The only reason why I want it to keep going is because I want, for once on a first time viewing, I want like a Halloween 4 type feeling when I finished watching the film. That no, it's not perfect, but damn, was it enjoyable.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think the more they make, the less that's likely.
I realize that. It's just too bad we weren't old enough, and this wasn't around back in 88 to where we could have, we probably all
we were only 9.
I know, but we would have at least appreciated, Halloween 4 even more so. Yeah, we would probably nitpicked at the mask and stuff, but overall, we would have been like, that was a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Had fun with it. You know what I mean? Good soundtrack,
I think
moments, good suspense. But we just, since Halloween 5, and since we've been old enough to go see a Halloween movie in the theaters, I've yet to have that experience. And I just want to experience it one time whether I'm watching it from home, like I am going to be watching Ends from home, or going to a theater to see it. I want to just be like walking out like, is it as good as the original? No. But was it enjoyable? Yes. That's it. That's my expectation.
Well, yeah, I mean,
all.
Yeah. Well, I think it just kind of, and again, not to sound like a broken record, but again, when I say on my channel, and I've said it since 2017, you can actually go watch those videos where I say this. The more sequels you make, it's inevitable that, I think my exact thing that I always used to say was, the more sequels you make, it's inevitable that the weird and unusual will eventually creep into the films. Do you guys remember me saying that in the chat room? I used to say that quite a bit when we talk about Halloween and sequels and all that kind of stuff. And now what's happening with Halloween Ends that could be perceived as weird and unusual, right? And now I'm not saying it is, and we could watch the movie and it could totally work and it's perfectly fine. But you can see what I'm saying now, right? You see it actually breathing life. You actually see it happening right before your eyes. And the reason for that is because if they don't do that, to David Gordon Green's point, they would just be making the same movies over and over again. And so that's why I say, I think it's over. I just don't see how this continues beyond this.
Oh, they'll find a way.
No, I know that of course they will, but I do not believe with any part of my being whatsoever that you're going to continue this franchise with good Halloween movies. I don't at all. I think you need to let it marinate. I think you need to take a break. I think you need to switch gears and maybe do Season of the Witch or whatever. Make people miss the story. Make people miss Michael Myers. Make people get to a point in their lives where they go, you know what? I'd be okay with a retelling, not a sequel. You can't keep going in this timeline. It's over. After Ends, it's done. But I think maybe for a new generation in the future, you can retell the story again in an interesting way. But even then, are you going to tell it all over again? And let's just do Halloween 1 again and Halloween 2 again. And it's like, God, no, it's done.
It and I know it. You know it and I know it. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. It's time to resurrect Freddy and Jason.
Yes.
We need to go on
Agreed.
a run with those two characters because they've been dormant for way too fucking long.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you do a soft reboot with both of them, something to just, these two characters have just been sitting on idle. Look, I'm fully confident that probably in a couple of years we'll get another Chainsaw. Leatherface is always going to somehow show his face, and I'll always tune into it. I have no expectations with it. That's Chainsaw. You know what I mean? That's just you watch those for the fun of it, like we did when we watched the recent one here a year ago. That was a fun night, hanging out with your buddies watching.
For sure.
That's
absolutely.
What Chainsaw is. That's my expectation with that.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there expecting a phenomenal movie, but man, you've got two characters that are sitting on your fucking shelves that have
with Jason, I mean, obviously they're trying to get something going with him.
Oh, I know. I realize that, but man, let's give these kids, if these kids are all about nostalgia and 80s feels, let's give this generation that for the next decade with, these two ruling the box office again.
Well, it's funny because you and I and others in the chat, I'm sure, we grew up as young kids through the 1980s. That's when we got into horror. And I've said this before on the show, but I want to say it again because it's interesting. I'm actually really curious. We grew up through a time when Jason and Freddy ruled. Okay, and it's not because Michael is trash. It's primarily because Halloween 2, 1981, and then the next time you saw Michael was in 1988. So through the prime years of slasher movies, through that real golden age of slashers, Michael was really non-existent. Freddy and Jason ruled the box office. They ruled the pop culture zeitgeist. They ruled the lunchboxes and the animation and the TV shows and the costumes and the songs and the music videos they were incredibly iconic.
Dude,
there isn't
iconic, when you have the president of the United States quoting in a speech. Yes. It feels like it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's right. Ronald Reagan.
Reagan says that. Yeah. That's how popular these characters were in the 80s.
Correct. That's what I mean when I talk about legendary and iconic characters being part of the pop culture zeitgeist. Yeah. If you don't know what zeitgeist means, you can look it up, but it just basically means part of an era, part of the popular culture. It's part of the culture. So when you think of like for example, right, the Beatles are part of the 60s zeitgeist. So when you think of the 60s, obviously the Beatles it's the Beatles, right? I mean, that's what you think of. Do you know what I mean? It becomes part of that culture, part of the 60s identity. And so, you know, when we talk about Jason and Freddy specifically, the 80s, it's part of that popular zeitgeist, right? It's just, they were the 80s. I mean, that is the 80s. You know, it's and there's lots of other things too, but they are a step above. They're not just iconic horror characters. They're iconic pop culture. They've embedded themselves into the pop culture zeitgeist. So that's a different level completely. So in the 80s, Freddy and Jason ruled the box office, and it's easy and ruled popular culture. And it's easy to say right now, and I agree that Michael Myers is the king. He absolutely is the king right now, but he also doesn't have a lot of competition either when it comes to mainstream stuff. Yeah, you got Candyman.
You can't say Ghostface, because Ghostface I don't put in the same category as Michael, Freddy, and Jason, and even Leatherface for that matter, because Ghostface is a different person. The core characters are the same. You know what I mean? Leatherface is the same. Michael's the same. Jason's the same. Freddy's the same.
But Ghostface, definitely 90s pop culture zeitgeist for sure.
No argument with that.
No argument.
But just different level.
I get you. But there's very little competition. So I am really curious. There's no doubt about it. Since 1998, it's been Michael Myers, because Jason was 2009, Freddy was 2010, 2 remakes that I know there are people that like the 2009 film, but you know what I mean? And then the lawsuit and all that. Yeah. You know, all that kind of stuff. Same with Elm Street. But with Michael, you've had H2O, Resurrection, Rob Zombie, 1 and 2, 18 Kills Ends. I mean, you've had like lots of movies with him. So he was given the opportunity to really take off and really sort of catch on when Freddy and Jason are dead. They're just not around. I am very curious now to see, now that Michael's going to take a rest for a little bit, I'm very curious to see if we can get Jason and Freddy going. And I don't mean Jason and Freddy going like the 2009 and 2010. I mean Jason and Freddy going. Right. I mean, like, talking like what they've been able to do with Halloween. I'm not suggesting that Blumhouse does it. I'm just saying they get it going. The engines are revved.
He wants to get his hands on both of them.
Of course he does. Of course he does. But I'd be very curious to see all the Fred heads that have been just waiting in the wings for their moment to shine. All the, Crystal Lake counselors that haven't had this opportunity yet. I am just wondering if Jason and Freddy can tear it up in the same ways again, or has it been too long? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Jason and Freddy make a legit comeback where the movies are great and who
Great
they've
in the sense
got.
of what they did in the 80s, right? Because obviously,
Well, great in the sense
expectations.
that not necessarily sure, but I mean in the sense that it's well received critically, it's well
Sure.
received by the fans, it makes boatloads of money at the box office. I'd be very curious to see then, and it starts a new series and things like that. It wouldn't surprise me if the love for those two characters suddenly just feels like something we haven't seen before because of where it was in the 80s. Now, also, it could not be like that. It's a different era as well. It's a very different time, and how we consume media and entertainment's very different, and who we are as a people
Well, yeah,
is very different. But
what did I say earlier?
there's lots of people
tonight?
out there waiting.
In a Friday the 13th film, you were going to see tits and ass. It was just a given. I don't think you're going to get that in a Friday the 13th film today. Right. You know what I mean? I don't think, which is fine. But that kind of is the recipe for those movies. But the way the culture is now, I don't think you're going to see it. Maybe you'll have, like a heavy makeout scene, but mostly everybody's going to be close.
Things have changed, and I do think that you need to evolve both films for sure. But it's just the characters. I really wonder, like, for example, although I do believe that Robert is far too old to play the character.
Yes, he is. I agree.
100%. He would
Find someone else.
He would even tell you that. And no, not Kevin Bacon, because Kevin Bacon's only like 10 years younger than Robert. So, he's like 63 or whatever he is. But that being said, hypothetically, based on nostalgia, you get Robert in there with, Heather Langenkamp, and, look out. That doesn't mean the movie's going to be good.
Where do you go with that? One movie?
Exactly. Where do you go? That's why
I'm saying like a soft reboot with a new cast. I know they tried it in 2010. The problem with the 2010 movies is they tried to make a replica of and you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? You're not, you had too many beats in there that were similar, Nancy in the bathtub. You're no matter how hard you try, what Amanda Wise, I think is her name, who played Tina in the original film, and what Wes Craven was able to capture, you are never going to be able to duplicate that kill scene the way it was executed in the original Nightmare with Tina getting killed. We've talked about it. It's our favorite kill in horror.
Yep.
And the fact that they even tried to go there in the remake in their own way, it's still, again, I think what they need to do with Nightmare on a soft reboot is just tell a fresh story.
Agreed. 100%.
And not duplicate anything.
I actually would love to see it now that we're seeing very darker, more horror themed series on Netflix. I think, listen, it would be great to see Krueger back on the big screen, sure. But I think an Elm Street series actually is ripe for streaming.
Do that.
I do.
Sure.
I think if you... And you could even tell, because Freddy's backstory is not ambiguous. It's not like Michael. We know his backstory. We know why he's the way he is. You could even have a first season where you tell his story. And then maybe the end of that, like the final episode in that first season, maybe it's 6 episodes, maybe it's 8 episodes. And, maybe they're half-hour episodes, maybe they're an hour episode. Well, whatever feels natural. But at the very end of season 1 is when he's, burned or whatever the case is, and really sets it up for season 2. I don't know. I just think that
or you can do a soft reboot from where 1 ended. I'm not saying you bring Nancy back, but you don't necessarily need to have Robert playing Freddy.
No, you don't.
Because anybody could have been that in 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. Freddy didn't have, we're not seeing the comic relief Freddy.
Listen, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm totally in agreement. If I was going to reboot Elm Street and give it the Halloween 18 approach, I would not include Dream Warriors. Sorry, Elm Street fans, I wouldn't include it. I would do it as a direct sequel to the original, only set 40 years later, whatever the case is. Yeah. And maybe
cast. You don't even have to bring Nancy back. You can have an entirely new cast who hear about this, crazy story of kids being killed in their sleep back in the 80s. You know what I mean?
You could totally do that. Although I probably would bring Heather back. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Sure.
If I was going to do that, then I would probably just reboot the whole thing and just from scratch. But look, I mean, there's a lot to work with there when it comes to Elm Street and Friday. Definitely, they would have to elevate the films a little bit. You have to mature them a little bit because it's not the 80s anymore, and a general movie-going audience, you know, we've sort of grown out of those B-movie kinds of things. Because you have to understand too is that
with
people,
the exception, Terrifier did pretty good at the box office this weekend.
Terrifier did amazing. I am so thrilled for those guys. Shout out to the guys on the Terrifier team. I mean, they've done. I can only imagine. I've never had a movie of my own play in the theater, obviously. I can only imagine how cool that must feel to watch the success and the feedback. I just think that's I just think that's amazing. Like, sincerely, I think that's awesome. So, and I've said that before. I mean, I've congratulated them before in past videos because I really appreciate the hustle. You know, it's just awesome. So, but I'm really curious on what this means now. Like, where is that gonna go?
It means,
do you know what I mean?
Super chats, because I'm starting to fall asleep.
Oh, right. I should shut up and get to the super chats. No, you're right. I should get to those super chats. Let's get to them. All right. There's only a few more I got to get here. Gary sends in $2, says, start an Indiegogo Michael fan film, $1 million goal. Not going to happen, Gary. Antonio Sandriota sends in $5, says, do you think Halloween Kills is the most cringy movie in the entire franchise? No.
Cringy dialogue.
Cringy dialogue, maybe, but yeah, 5 is it depends what you mean by cringy, right? Like overall, no, I wouldn't say so. H2O is pretty cringe at times too. Jeffrey M sends in $2, says, can you put your Michael Myers mask on real quick? No, not gonna happen. David Coe sends in $4.99. David Coe sends in $4.99 and says, Dave, in his last video, Lee Drum Dum said shit show 3 times. I think you should sue him. You probably could in 2022. Love the show, guys. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, Lee actually, I send Lee invoices, and Lee sends me about $500,000 a month for the use of the term shit show. So it's a give and take thing. It's a give and take thing. I think that's it, dude. I think that's it. I think that's all the
Sweet.
Let me just check here. I think that's all the super chats.
I'm just kidding.
No, dude, it's late. It's like 11:30. We started late. Yeah, that's it. All right, folks, listen, that's gonna do it for this episode of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit Halloween Kills Extended Cut. Thank you to our great moderators, of course, Frank Reger, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Cody Snyder, Andrew Stevens. You guys are amazing. Thank you for doing what you do. Oh, and Chris Baber too. Thank you for doing what you guys do. Really appreciate it. Thank you to the super chat questions that came in today, and also. Hey, if you're watching after the fact, comment below and let Tony and I know your thoughts on Halloween Kills the Extended Cut. Tony and I will be back hopefully next Monday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time watching Halloween Ends Live. Halloween Ends Live. Make sure you tune in for that. Tony, any last things you want to say?
I fully expect we're going to have a big turnout that night.
Oh, dude, I want to see 1,000 viewers in the chat room that night. That's what I want to see.
I'm going to predict we're going to be probably in the 500 to 600 range.
I think you're right. I think you're right. That'd be awesome. All right, folks, take care. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.